Well, hello. How you doing? It's kind of a mellow one here for me. I'm the flying solo. I don't know where Mr. Beaver is. He said he was going to try and join, and hopefully he'll be able to join in a little bit. He was not able to make it to Ottawa today, unfortunately. So it's going to be mostly me. I hope you can live with that. We'll see how long we can carry this on for. I don't know what time Mr. Beaver said he was going to join, but he said he was going to be able to join from his home. So hopefully he'll be with us shortly. In the meantime, today was a strange day. Not a bad day, a strange day. We were supposed to have our second annual mental health walk, and to be honest with you, we failed at promoting it. We did not do enough to get the word out, and that is solely on me. I didn't. I largely my mental health has been, it's been an up and down battle for me for a little while. So, oh, there's Mr. Beaver. So yeah, so I am. Yeah, we didn't really have the walk today. It was the walk in spirit. Let's just say it was a spiritual walk, solo spiritual walk, if you want. So yeah, I failed to really put the effort into it to get the word out to people, and that's on me. It's as simple as that. I'm not upset by it because I just didn't. I didn't really have the time to invest in setting things up so that we could get more people in and get the word out. And that's all me. That's me and only me. That's my fault. So hopefully next year we'll be able to do things better by advancing the charity so that it's actually a legitimate charity and not just an awareness fundraiser, but something where we can actually raise money for mental health along the way. And hopefully that will be the case. So, Mr. Beaver, how you doing?
Not great today, unfortunately.
No,
No.
yeah, I'm not 100% today, to be honest with you. Physically, I'm feeling sore all over, and I don't know why. The last 2 nights, I woke up. Yesterday, I called Bridget and I go, "Did you come over in the middle of the night and beat the hell out of me in my sleep?" She's like, "No, just everything physically hurt." Everything from top to bottom, head to toe, every muscle, shoulder, my back. I don't know if it's getting old or what. What's going on with you, sir?
Uh, I have been a mess the past few days,
Yeah.
unfortunately. There's been a lot going on, and this season in particular, um, Pride is always a particularly interesting season for me, because while I am proud and everything, and actually right today is Kingston Pride, so
Oh,
yeah.
right. Yeah.
But I can't march clearly, and which is why I'm here. I couldn't do the walk either. Um, uh, how do you put it? I have the pride for being here,
Hmm.
right? Without going into it. I know it's mental health walk day and stuff like this, but it's still pub chat, not necessarily a therapy session. But if I told the people the story of my childhood, you guys, your hair would curl and you'd cry. So there's something about pride. Um, good about myself in terms of being at 52 years old, a relatively well adjusted, relatively mature, relatively intelligent, relatively accomplished, uh, person against all statistical odds because I should either be in jail, addicted, or dead by now,
Hmm.
based on the hand I was dealt. But with that, obviously, comes trauma. And around this time of the year, also a lot of that gets triggered. And everybody has an issue. Mine is the big A, abandonment. So,
Oh, yeah.
of course, when you're on crutches and everybody's out living their lives and stuff, and a couple of other things that have been going on, as you know, the things have been better since October, November, but the last year has been particularly hard, and I've had to carry a lot of weight alone. So there's been a couple of incidents that have happened over the past few weeks and whatnot that have kind of made me felt either left alone or not thought of or cast aside or things like that, which in normal times just flow off my back like a water on a
Water
duck,
off the duck.
but not the past few while, and it kind of came to a head a few days ago, and I have honestly not been good.
Yeah, I can relate.
So
I can relate for, I mean, different reasons. I'm just not feeling good. And this morning, honest to goodness, I was out walking Lola and I thought maybe I'll just skip this whole thing today. Maybe I just won't do it. I wasn't physically feeling good. Emotionally, I wasn't feeling good about myself. The money's really low. Sure, I have a new job soon. And that's a super positive thing, but it's not here yet, right? It's a few weeks before I start, so things are still tight and tough, and it affects me, of course. I'm grateful that I have a new job starting soon, but I mean, the weight is the hard part right now, and sorry, my mic needs. I gotta adjust something here, and as a result, I'm just I'm not 100%. And this morning I was like, maybe I'll just cancel the whole thing, and then I thought, no, that's not good. I don't have a lot of physical or emotional strength right now, but I thought, if I cancel, I'm just going to sit on my butt in my house and do nothing and not interact with anybody. And that is not good either. It's not. So being able to get out here, set this up, do this today is, as like somebody just said, a PubCast can be therapy. Because I know it's in the past, it's helped you when you've had, been feeling bad, and you do the PubCast and you usually feel better because you have the company of people who care about us, people who want us to succeed, and people who want us to be happy. So a different mood today for the PubCast. Normally we're joking and having a good time, and don't get me wrong, we still want that. That's the thing we want to do is have a good time. But I got to be 100% honest. I'm not 100% right now. I'm not, and I wouldn't. It would be dishonest for me to say otherwise, and I don't want to be dishonest. So I know that you've been going through a lot, and that this, having your mobility very, very limited to you is troubling, because normally you'd be playing tennis right now, and this is the tennis season, right?
I mean, I'm a dancer in my soul, right? So movement
Right.
is my whole thing. So
Yeah.
movement being restricted particularly is tough.
Yeah, it is.
So
It is.
but yes, there's the tennis part as well. It's yeah. Listen, I had similar thoughts. When it became clear I was not going to be able to make it down for the walk, and the main reason is it's not that I couldn't have taken a train to get there or whatnot, but luggage plus crutches,
Yeah.
and then groceries with crutches for the days that
Yes.
I'm going to be there, and then riding a bus or a train where you can get kicked or whatnot.
Mm.
So because my beaver sweetie couldn't come, obviously, because it's Pride and he's
Right.
and stuff, and then being alone at my place in Ottawa, if ever I should put a crutch wrong, slip, fall, whatnot, I'm alone. So I decided it was probably smarter to not travel. But yeah, I had similar thought today about maybe I should just send a message and say I'm not coming in, because while pub chat can be real chat,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I didn't want to necessarily be a downer either.
Yeah. No, I
So,
understand.
and I do have slightly downer energy at the moment, and
Yeah.
feeling sort of I'm a bit in the hole and trying to dig myself out and will myself to positivity, but I'm far from there yet. And I was figuring that maybe bringing that to this,
Hmm.
it's easier to talk about being there for other people, for their mental health, when you're not going through stuff.
Very
and
much so.
would want to say, "Okay, you know what? I'm sorry, we're not going to do PubCast today. We're just going to talk about my stuff because I have a need right now, and that's not what this is about." So I'm,
Right.
uh, yeah, it's a tough one today. It's a tough one today.
Yeah, I get you. I know what you're saying, and I'm feeling the same thing. It's just a little. Things are tough all over right now, and we have all kinds of strange global things happening right now that we're not going to discuss because we don't need to feel any more down than we already
Yeah,
are.
yeah, and like just to give you kits and cubs a thing, right? An idea without going into it. Um, there's, as everybody knows, I was a foster kid, right? And there's all the
Mhm.
stuff that abandonment related that comes with that, whether rational or not. I know my mom did not abandon me, right? She was ill. Yes. And as I got older, I figured that out. But when you're 3, 4, 5, 6, you haven't figured that out yet.
Right.
Okay, right? And those are the years that mark you, right? Uh, and uh, and it's not that I ever felt abandoned because I knew she loved me, but I just couldn't wrap my head around why I couldn't stay with her,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? Until like later on, I figured that out. Um, but when I left my foster home, when I aged, didn't necessarily age out of the foster care system yet, but left my foster home to go to university. On the last day that I was there,
Hmm.
as I was loading the last box into the car before heading off, that is when my foster father hinted, or well, basically asked me outright if I was gay,
Right.
because he had suspected so for about 3 years, which kind of explains why the last few years there were particularly hellish. Um, and let it be known pretty clearly to me that that was the last communication we would have, even though I lived there for 10 years. So,
Yeah, that's kind of messed up, huh?
yep. So, um, having the rug pulled out from under you just as you're about to go into the world, and you know, all in an instant, being realizing that you do not have the luxury of failing because you can't go anywhere for Sunday dinner, you can't bring your laundry home for the
Mhm.
weekend. You can't like this. You get one shot, and if you fuck up, you're going to be on the street, and whatever happens as a result of that is an incredible amount of pressure on a 19-year-old
Yeah, you could say so.
um, who's dealing with a whole lot of other things that have happened already. So, yeah, pride. Like I said, it's a mix of those things, right? It's every the distance I've traveled from that moment, of which I'm
Mhm.
very proud, and then there's the constant reminder of that moment and of other events that have happened, some of them that changed my life in ways that you can't go back from ever, 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 related to the whole process of discovering who I was and
Mhm.
putting trust in people that I should not have.
That
And
happens.
yeah, so it's a reminder of all of that stuff. So both of them are together at the same time. And like I said, most years it's sort of like, yeah, that happened, but look at me now. And I just walked by, but not this year,
Mhm.
not this year, unfortunately. And so, yeah, that's to give a little more context because I know sometimes I talk cryptically when I talk about these types of things like this. And I don't mean to be cryptic. It's not that I don't mean to share, but it's just, um, that would be an entirely different kind of show. Let's put it that way.
Well, you could say that. Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah, with like trigger warnings and the whole thing and stuff. So,
Yeah.
and that's not exactly the vibe, but it's yeah, it's a tough day. Like there, and it's very rare, very very rare that that feeling becomes overwhelming so much that I take a dip. I'm usually pretty good at
Mhm.
casting it off. But they're like I said, um, with having to carry a lot of the load for a certain amount of time, and then with other things, some of which you are familiar,
Mhm.
where it seems that certain people were there and are not. anymore. And other things. So there's like, you know, uh, there's a bit of a puppy dog feel.
Hmm.
Like I know I was doing the show, and my beaver sweetie's like kissing me, goodbye as he's going to the march, and again, right, over melodramatic, but it's like the slow zoom in and the violins, and it's like you're leaving again. You have such a life, and I'm, and like I
Yeah.
said, it's irrational, it's illogical, whatnot like this. I know like this, but it is directly related to buttons that get
Well,
pressed, and
you feel
you
what you
can't control
feel.
that.
No, and you feel what you feel, and you're allowed to. One of the things that's key for mental health, and this is Mental Health Walk Day, even though we didn't actually do it this year, we'll still celebrate the day and talk about our mental health because it's what we're doing right now. One of the things that you need to remember, and even though you're saying, "Look, it's ridiculous, I'm being melodramatic," yeah, but you feel what you feel, and you can't change that.
Yeah,
And you should be allowed to feel it because you have to remember that so many men amongst us simply cram it down because nobody wants to hear what they have to say. How many times do I see people talk and say, you've seen the TikTok series, I'm sure, or seen it on YouTube, where a woman says, "Guys, I'm looking for a stitch on this. Who do you talk to when you're having a hard time?" And there are hundreds of guys that just responded, said, "Nobody. There's nobody to talk to." So the point of today, the mental health walk and then the podcast in conjunction with it, is to talk about how we're feeling and what we're feeling when we're feeling. And to remember that we need to be able to talk about this because when we don't talk, that's when we stop talking permanently for so many people.
yeah. And the thing is that when you get to one of these things, then there are a whole bunch of tangential things that
Hmm.
come up. So when I talk about, for example, having the rug pulled out from under me, right? When I left that foster home, it's like that sense of security was gone. Because then you start thinking about other things. So, for example, um, again, I was a dance student. I studied dance for 13 years, and I was good.
Hmm.
I was damn good. I got accepted to a Bachelor of Fine Arts in dance. I was
Hmm.
studying at university in dance. I was the only boy accepted that year, in a year in which they had to expand the number of admissions because the auditions were so good. I was good, right? And then my knee went.
Yeah. And that was
And it
the
was, like,
lift.
literally the end of my career, and it's like, you can't blame anyone. It's
No,
nobody's fault, but it's
it
something that
happens.
you put 13 years of your life into. Yank,
And now you can't do it. Yeah.
right? So, when situations happen like this sometimes, like this, where you feel, "Hey, wait a minute, that was mine,"
Hmm.
or "I worked hard for that," or whatnot, and so you again, which is, like, not at all related to being
Hmm.
gay. But then it's that series of leaps, right? You get the abandonment, and then you think about that thing, and it's, "Oh, yeah, that was taken away from me," and then you go, "Oh, yeah, I lost that too, and I lost that too," and then you go and the things just connect, right? You just
It's
make
not one
these
thing.
weird
It's one
lumps, these
thing.
weird leaps. So, and then it's just like one more layer of feeling sorry for yourself, one more layer of feeling piled on like this, and
And you feel guilty about it, right? You
not
feel
no
guilty. Oh, I feel guilty when I feel sorry for myself. I feel
well,
guilty.
I'm beyond that point
Okay.
because, like, it's after 52 years, it's happened often enough
Hmm.
that you kind of like, "Oh, yeah, look who's coming to visit again. Guess who's coming to dinner." Right? So, it's it's like your brain is split in 2, right? You've got one side of your brain says, "I know this is illogical and irrational and whatnot," and it's like, just stop thinking about it. Just buck
Right.
up. Just will yourself. Like, you do it so many times, you do it all the time, like, that's the story of your life. You buck up, you
Mhm.
overcome, you get it done. That's why you're relatively well-adjusted and you're not in jail or not 6 feet under, because that's what you do.
Mhm.
Yes. But it's like, I had no choice either. It was either that or fail. So it just brings you back to the point, even though I have things now,
Mhm.
I have some stability, I have people who love me, I have good relationships. It's like, and again, rationally know I'm not back where I was, let's
Mm-hmm.
say when I was 25, 26, and I was left homeless
Mm-hmm.
by someone,
Big difference.
right? Who I thought loved me.
Yeah.
So, um, but you still go back to that place,
Right.
even though you know you're not there, right? So, and it's that battle between these two sides of the brain. It's like, yeah, you feel what you feel. And I'm the type of person that when I feel what I feel, I just learned that what works for me is to feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to get around it. Don't try to make it go away. Don't try to rush through it. Go down into it, feel it,
Yeah.
because your feelings are one of the only things that are outright your own. So have them. I was like, even the sucky ones let you know you are alive, right? But
Mm.
there's also like, there's part of me that's like, I'm so over it right now as well.
Yeah, I need
It's like, it's like, I know it never goes away, but there's part of me that's just over it and would just like it to stop.
mm-hmm.
And there might be a little, if I'm being completely honest, a little anger with
Okay.
regard to the fact that it never stops.
You just get sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? That's what it boils down to.
Yeah. So yeah, it's it's a challenging day to put a PR spin on
Yeah.
it.
Well, how many more weeks do you need until you're able to walk without the cast or crutches? Do you know?
2 more if everything is okay until the air cast comes off. Because yeah, 4 weeks in 1 day, 4 weeks in 1 day in about, like, 3 or 4 hours that it went.
Okay.
My orthopedic surgeon, consult is on the 19th, which I thought was gonna be late, and I gave them a call this week, and they did confirm it was a triage thing. So
Okay.
it seems that based on the X-ray, I'm low priority, which is a good sign for no surgery if I've been a good enough boy
Hmm.
for the last few weeks and can continue to be a good enough boy for the next 2. And then there will be at least 2 weeks walking without the air cast on, but still no running, no jumping, no anything
No
uh,
tennis.
of the sort. Yeah, still no tennis, and I also have to really rebuild this leg.
Yeah, because it's been
Got
getting very little use.
Yeah, I got these things here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
And so each of them have like 5 pounds, and I've got 2 of them, and I'm trying to get to the point where I can get 10 pounds on one leg and lift. And right now I'm at 3
Well, you know, it's called
before it gets exhausted. So it's
baby
and
steps.
yeah, and this is the second time now in my life that I pretty much have to rebuild my leg. Although this one, not completely from scratch, because the last time I couldn't. It took me 4 days to figure out how to just, if I was lying on my back, just to lift it off
Mm.
to find the connection. So it's nowhere near as bad as that, but it's just like learning to walk again at 52.
Yeah.
It's maybe the 3rd time in my life that I learned to walk again. So I was
Well,
like, yeah.
you have an "oh, woe is me" moment, and you're allowed to have them, especially on a day like today when this is what the point of today's uh,
It's supposed to
walk.
be about walking.
You know, it's supposed to be about talking about mental health. We go for a walk to talk about our mental health, and we didn't walk today, but we are talking about our mental health right here live on the web, on YouTube, on our channel, on multiple platforms. And the idea being, talk about what you're feeling when you're feeling it, so that people know it's okay. It's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to talk about not being okay. It sucks not being okay. It's no fun. It's not enjoyable. I would much prefer if I was in a better emotional state right now. But what can I do? The money's tight. My body is, my shoulder, my back, my knees, everything hurts right now.
Mhm.
It's like, did somebody beat the hell out of me and I didn't know about it? Um, I have so many positives in my life right now that I take account of, and I don't take for granted. Um, I don't know if everybody realizes that sometimes, but sometimes it's difficult to express when you don't have the words and you don't have the energy to think of the words. If that makes any sense. just physically exhausted and emotionally exhausted, and just carrying forward from one day to the next. Like I said, this morning I got up and I was out walking Lola, and I was just going to say, screw it, I'm not doing any of this today. Because my head wasn't in it. Now, I was here setting up, and Bridget went over to the museum to wait to see if anybody showed up, but she said nobody showed up. I said, okay, that's fine. I'm not too chuffed about it, to
I'm
be
not
honest
sure
with
we
you.
even announced to ask people to meet us at the
No,
museum.
no. So it's not a big deal, but I thought just as a, a precursor, just in case. But I told Bridget, I said, I won't be able to do the 5K. I'm in too much pain. I can't walk that far right now.
Mhm.
I mean, just loading and unloading this took a took a toll on me. So yeah, I know it sounds like we're sitting here complaining, and I guess we kind of are, but that isn't that the point of a mental health walk, is to talk about these things.
Mhm.
I know
And
this, we're supposed to be, having jovial pub chat fun, and we will get to
yeah,
that.
we'll get there.
But let's just talk about how we're feeling right now.
And it's the weird part is that it manifests itself in such the most dumb ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
dumb ways. I'll just yesterday, I went to take a bath. Well, shower. It's tricky to do
Mm-hmm.
when you're standing on one leg, stuff like that. But managing to get it done. I'm at the point now where I don't have to sit in the bathtub to take a shower. I can actually stand throughout it,
Nice.
which is nice.
Did you get a shower chair?
We didn't get a shower chair, but we have a bathtub such that it's pretty easy to
Okay.
do that lengthwise and all that kind of stuff and depth wise. Um, but a couple weeks ago, I bought a new towel.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, one of the big towel, body wrap towel, huge one, nice, soft, fluffy,
A
all
bath
that kind of
sheet.
stuff. Yeah, bath sheet, right? Um, Paid a good price for it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. Um, went out. I went I was a label queen, and I went and got a name brand like this.
Of course you did.
Again, a child thing. I'm not a label queen, but again, it's directly related to my childhood. Somebody
Mm-hmm.
gave me an absolute excellent gift at the end of grade 5, which is a year I moved to a new part of town, to a new school, and had hardly no friends that year. And then we moved to a better part of town, so, I did not have the clothes to fit in.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody noticed and gave me a gift of a polo rugby shirt for Christmas.
Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah, that was at the time, that was the thing to wear.
Yeah. Um, Changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
Changed my life. So I went to go get some polo bath sheets at the bay during the clearance.
They don't give those away.
No. Um, and I bought it in my favorite color, green.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to take the bath and I realized that my beaver sweetie, even though he had the choice of 3 towels, used that one first.
And that was just put you right over the top, did it?
That was enough. Yep. It was just like, dude, could I not have used it first?
Mm,
Really?
yeah.
And it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter at all. It's going to be washed several times.
It
Yeah.
really does not matter. And I got upset and I'm like, sweetie, like this. And he's working in the kitchen. And at one point he comes and it's like, by the time, fortunately, it took him a couple of minutes to come because he had to finish what he was doing. Like, and in those 2 minutes, it was sort of like, this is dumb. And it's like, don't, no, just like, never mind. I was just being stupid. I was just like, because it was not to take it out on him. Right. And I was about to do that. Right. So it's just, but it's like, just like really dumb things like that. And it's just like, God, Douglas, man, you got, yeah.
Uh,
Not you got to be tough, made of tougher stuff, but it was like, but fortunately in that moment, I was like, dude, you're being ridiculous. so,
yeah.
so fortunately, I caught myself before I created some drama. But yeah, it's amazing what will set you off.
Yeah. Yeah. I tend to keep my stuff internal. I don't. It's just because I'm so used to internalizing it, right? So I don't necessarily express feelings like that when I'm having them. So what I do is I do the unhealthy man thing and ignore them.
Mm,
And you know what? I'm fine with it because I'm pretty chill for the most part. I can be high strung at times, certainly like anybody can be, but I'm pretty laid back and chill for the most part. You know, I don't let a lot of stuff bother me because it's just stuff, man. It's just
mm,
stuff.
yeah.
You know, it's you know.
Yeah. I'm. Hmm, I don't know how. To, like, because my coping mechanisms are different, right?
Hmm.
So it's like, um, it's not that I don't talk about. Often I will write about it. Writing's how I. That's always how I always let stuff out. Um, I tend to swallow. So
There's a joke in there,
I
but
know there's a joke in there. I know as soon as I said it, it's just like, um,
I'm not going to say it.
I know. Dave Gray, our friend, the other day was talking about something and says, anybody who doesn't believe this, you can all go eat a bag of dicks. And I says, oh God, it's a good thing I don't feel that way because I got way too much to do this weekend to take care of that.
Well,
So,
you know, so that you want to know the funny thing about that statement? Eat a bag of dicks. Dick's is a fast food place in LA where they cook
oh,
burgers, and people buy burgers by the bag,
okay.
sliders, literally. And that was Snoop Dogg said, "Go eat a bag of dicks." He was talking about Dick's drive-through in
Okay.
Los Angeles, and everybody took it as meaning something else, but that was not what he meant at all.
Ah, so,
So
yeah.
it just became a whole different thing. But yeah, that's what it comes from.
So
Dick's
I don't
drive.
I don't have time on the agenda to eat a whole bag of dicks. It's like, chase. uh, but I, when I was in the foster home, my whole thing, because we were five boys, and I was the one that needed the least amount of attention.
Mhm.
Um, uh, I would, if the walls were beige, I would wear beige. So if something bad happens, my tendency is to just swallow it and do not make any waves. And it's like, oh well, gulp. Okay, I move on. But there are, again, there's another joke there, but there are certain things that are a lot harder to get down. Let's put it that way.
Mm.
So I know I'm just creating the double entendre. I get
Trust
it. I
me.
understand. Don't. It's like, uh, but yeah, there are some days. Uh, it, it it yeah. There are some days I'm not as good as having it go down, and part of it is because at some point it's too much, but at other point, part of it is also is like, and part of my language, but fuck no, I don't need to swallow this. So
Hmm.
why am I?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, that's reasonable.
And then comes the thought like, okay, well, do I make a deal about this? What is there to gain? Or do I just choosing not to swallow it, but choosing it to put it there and just say, you know what? I'm going to decide that this doesn't matter because trying to make it matter is going to be more difficult than the other one.
Right.
And that gets you by for a time,
Hmm.
but it's probably ultimately not healthy as well. It's a judicious thing. So when that part also no longer works, and I think that's where I am at the particular moment today. Uh, that's the thing I do not necessarily have the skills for yet,
Hmm.
because that's more newish, because the other part is usually where it stops. But
Right.
that did not work this time. So I
Mhm.
now I'm in a little bit of a, okay, I need something new, something different. I need to learn something. I need to grow from this somehow, right? But I still don't know what it is. So I'm sort of fumbling in the dark,
Mhm.
which can be even more frustrating. So
Absolutely. When you, yeah, yeah, because you don't know, you're fumbling in the dark is a good. term for it, because you don't know what you're looking for, and you don't have anything to grasp onto. So you just stumble and fumble about.
And you have no confidence that it will work if you do come up with an idea anyway, right? Because you've never
Yeah,
tried it before.
yeah, yeah. Been there, done that. Wrote the book, sold T-shirts. Uh, keep moving forward. Well, if you say so.
Okay.
You say so, Lori.
Dicks are overrated. Nothing personal. I counterpoint. I found mine quite useful.
I'm saying nothing. Saying nothing.
Oh, thank you. I needed that.
I'm not saying a thing right now. I'm gonna lean way out of this one. Nope. Nope. I am physically exhausted today too. I haven't. Yesterday I was up at 3 a.m. and just as I was dozing back to sleep at around 8, Lola insisted on going out. So like, okay, come on, let's go. And then I couldn't take a nap yesterday. So I was a zombie all day and didn't sleep well last night. So today I'm a bit of a zombie. So I'm physically tired. I'm not feeling great emotionally. And I think a large part of that has to do with the lack of sleep. As simple as that. So, just, it's one of those weekends or one of those days where everything that can go wrong seems to be going wrong. And yet I have to take stock in the fact that, could be a lot worse. Could be so much worse. So try and shine a light where I can. And I'm happy to be here. My lady is at my side. My puppy dog is super happy. I get to spend some time with you this afternoon. We have the kits and cubs in the chat that are always here to pick us up and make us feel better when we're not doing so great. So, let's take stock and show gratitude in those things. And I think that will help carry us through a little bit better.
Right. We even have Kit Pete with us.
4
10
a.m.
a.m. in Melbourne at the moment. What are you doing up? I mean, I'm glad to see you, friend, but what are you doing up, man?
4 a.m. That's early, mate. That is early. Yeah. Well,
Oh, by the way, since you're there, because I'm going to do to you what people usually do to Canadians. You're from Australia, so you must know everybody there, right? So give everybody some thanks for sending the firefighters up. We really appreciate them. Thank you, Australia.
If you see Bob from Canberra, let him know I said.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, there's only 20 million people in Australia,
Yes.
right? A big country.
You tell Bob from
everybody knows everyone.
Yeah, you tell Bob from Canberra, and we'll tell Jane from Calgary that
Yes.
you send greetings to.
It's funny that I know a Jane from Calgary. Seriously. Well, come on, man. I've lived all over the country, so odds are pretty good I'm going to know somebody by that name from that part of the country.
I know of a Jan from the area. I don't think I know any Janes from Calgary. Oh, my word. Oh. So, now that we've gotten past the I'm bummed out part, which I seem to be at least temporarily moving away from because thanks to Lori Sue, I made it made me laugh. Okay. I know we normally talk about this on the show, but we had to pre-record Friday, so we couldn't. What the hell, Oilers?
Yeah, well, I watched that game. I fell asleep in the second period, and I woke up just as the overtime was starting, and I'm like, overtime? How the hell did you do that?
Right? I watched the first period, and it was like, oh, God, not again.
Yeah.
And then, like, Beaver Sweetie called me in for dinner, and we ate and stuff like that. And then I haven't been sleeping well, so I actually fell asleep. Because I woke up at one point and saw 3-3, and it's, oh, this is interesting. Maybe I should and then woke up again, saw 4-4. Oh, okay, and saw it was an overtime. Maybe I should watch.
Well, I stayed up to watch the overtime period because like I said, I fell asleep in the second period, and I missed the third period, and I woke up as the overtime was starting, and I'm like, holy shit, how did they do that? Oh, I know how they did it. They're a damn good team. It's not, and you got to remember, Florida's no pushover. They're a good team. So I said 6. It might end up going 7, and I still say Edmonton's going to win it. But it's going to be it's the best of 3 now, right?
Yep. And it's literally Florida Panthers 2, Leon Draisaitl 2.
Yeah.
Let's be honest here. That guy, oh
He's
my
got
God.
4 overtime goals in the playoffs, which is a new record.
Right?
Yeah.
Just insane how good he is.
hmm
So yeah, and of course, I believe there's a match tonight, Game 5 tonight.
Game 5 is tonight in Edmonton.
Yes.
I'm sure I'll reach out to Army Chris later and ask him if he's going to go to the pub to watch the game or stay at home to watch the game, or as if he's going to go. I don't think he'll go down to the
Moss Pit.
ice district.
Okay.
It's not exactly a walk to his place from there. So
There's one person in that Moss Pit that I see all the time. That person is dedicated. There's somebody that's always in silver, like with silver paint face with a sign that says "Believe." It says, I do not know what you are doing to your skin.
And the Believe
so often, but
it's
wow.
written kind of like the same font from the Ted Lasso series.
Okay.
On a yellow piece of paper. It's like they're emulating Ted Lasso. So
okay, but whoever's doing that, hats off to you.
That's
I have
dedication.
no idea who you are, but man, you do believe, because that's an investment.
Yeah.
But yeah, and without, because I know, because we're not supposed to do the politics thing, but the fact that Game 5 was on the Saturday,
Mhm.
the day before everybody starts arriving for G7, and that's the day Danielle invited Mark Carney to come. It's like, well, yeah, that was a real sincere invitation. I guess, fortunately, though, it's like, oh, sorry, that ticket you have for me, I really can't accept it. I got family coming over. So it's pretty cool that he can say no without having to give her something to be offended by.
I'm kind of busy.
Kind of busy. If you haven't heard, there's this thing going on, Kananaskis.
I'm taking over the position of what do the Americans always love to say, leader of the free world.
Yeah.
Economically, anyway, making Canada the powerhouse that I always knew she could be. So
yeah.
Anyway.
So anyway, but that's the only sort of like the Oilers related. I'm just like reading that and I'm going, huh, how convenient. It's like, whoo, dodged a bullet. But yeah, I'm very excited about watching that game tonight. And I know because again, it's Pride, so my sweetie will come home after the parade and stuff like that. We'll have dinner and stuff like that. But then there's a party and there's a to-do tonight and all that kind of stuff. And again, he'll look at me and says, "Hey, come along, let's have fun. You can sit on a chair and chair dance." It's like big crowds, lots of people, lots of gyrations, lots of people drinking alcohol, not watching where they're going, dropping booze on you, spitting on you, just bumping into you. No, thank you. That does not sound like my idea of a good time at all.
There's the celebratory beaver.
Keep on saying crutches are glamour.
Well, I mean, I guess
I make them work.
Hollow
the crutches. The crutches don't work me.
Hollow them out and put wine in one and beer in the other.
Right.
It's like the canes you have at canes of Caribou at Carnival, right?
Right.
If you've ever been to Quebec City, everybody has the walking stick. It's because it's filled with caribou. And caribou is a special concoction made with red wine and other things. And it doesn't taste that good, but you'll have a lot of fun if you drink it. I'll leave it at that.
So I look at Linnea. I just want to hear Trump try to pronounce Kananaskis. Somebody said like this, how do you think he's going to pronounce it? And I thought it's like, can I has askis?
So he's having his parade of it's his 79th birthday today, and he's having his birthday parade, and he's saying it's to celebrate the Army, the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army in D.C. And I guess what, he's going to fly from D.C. directly to Kananaskis, or what's the dealie there? Like,
I'm surprised he didn't ask for its long form birth certificate. I couldn't resist. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's funny. I gotta wonder though, will he fly into Calgary and then they'll take the chopper to Kananaskis? I don't know what's going on.
Probably. Unfortunately, it seems it's the weather's cleared up somewhat, and it's not
Oh,
going to
has it?
rain during the parade,
But
unfortunately.
I've seen a lot of protests across the U.S. So
Yeah.
seems to be no king protests sweep across U.S. and Germany. Interesting. Why Germany? Like they don't have the same issue. Anyway, in
Saucy.
Canada, it's just the no tyrant because we have a king here. By the way, for those of you who are not well aware, we do have a king. Like it or not, it's a thing.
Kidland damn saucy. Yes. Glitter to the
Glitter,
crutches.
glitter crutches, bedazzle them.
Yes. Ooh. Oh, I'm having visions. Sorry. What? Don't you like it? It brings out the blue in my thighs.
Sure.
All
I've got to get a glass of water. I'll be back in a moment.
right. Well,
Floor is yours, sir.
okay. Before you go, maybe not.
Well, what?
I just popped the cap since G7. I figured I'd celebrate Mexico a little bit.
I'll have a Corona. Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
So, sociable, everyone, since I don't want to drink alone.
I'm gonna have
Because
water.
technically I'm alone.
I'll be back in a minute.
All right. So 1, 2, 3. Sociable. Mm. Yum, 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 yum. All right. I got to nurse that one because I have to make it last for the whole show because the fridge is a long way away. Oh, man. Okay. As Mr. Grizzly said, already feeling a little lighter. So thanks for allowing that space, kids and cubs, for a little bit of that talk to take place. As Mr. Grizzly is correct, when I'm feeling down, I pop in and come and see you guys, and I do end up feeling better. So yeah, it works. It works. Let's see. What have we got going on? So yes, of course, it's Pride here in beautiful Kingston. Um, it's a nice one if you haven't attended it. It's not ridiculously big, but each and every year since I've been here, there's been much more and more visible community support. I remember the first year I marched here about maybe 10 or 12 years ago with my beaver sweetie when we first started dating. Um, Not necessarily every place around the route was lined, and sometimes there were, but you could only see people like maybe like one person deep and whatnot. And the last few years, not last year because last year I did the mental health walk in Ottawa, but the year before that, there were significantly more people uh, than in first years. So it's an event that is growing here. As you know, a lot of prides, however, are having some financial difficulty because insurance fees related to the event to provide security and all that kind of stuff have gone up uh, and gone up a lot. So a lot of festivals are pared down a little, or they're trying to do what they usually do, and are going to run a pretty big deficit this year. But in terms of activities and stuff, there seems to be a little something for everyone, and some pub nights and some dancing, and some shows in the park because it ends, and then everybody goes down to a Confederation Park here in Kingston by the water, and spends a day out there on the lawn. And there, some people bring picnic lunches and all that kind of stuff, and so yeah, it's a pretty darn good day. And there's a pub nearby where when we did the PubCast from Kingston, I think it was last September.
Yes.
Tirnog and Montes and all of them. They make all that space available to us. And it's kind of our home base here in Kingston. A few nights a month, either 1 or 2 Saturdays a month, we have an event called Beers for Queers, where people like get together, like this, and just have a night together and socialize and whatnot. Because we don't actually have a dedicated gay bar in Kingston.
Oh, really?
So yeah, there's the population's not there to support it.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
That makes sense then.
so yeah, but they do, they're our home base, and they give us space for our events and stuff. So,
Isn't there?
and they're good to us.
There must be something on campus at Queens, though, would there not be? For
Not specifically, no.
Huh?
Like there's a group, whatnot, but there's no particular like this. It would be the same thing where the student pub is like this, and they would have a night or events or whatnot, but there's no dedicated space. There
Oh,
was one that was going to open a couple of years ago, and they were renovating and whatnot. And then after they did all the renovations or whatnot, the city came in and said, "Oh well, this is what's going to be your capacity limit." And then they looked at it and says, "You can't make a bar function on that many people." Just like, and then they had to abandon it after they had put in all the work to renovate it and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, over here, and times have changed, right? Even in Ottawa, there are some, but it's not like it was, let's say, late 80s, early 90s. And just like we had actually like discotheques with metal floors and the big lights and all that kind of stuff. There's nothing like that anymore. There's just a couple of like neighborhood pubs and that type of stuff because
Here in Ottawa, you mean? I don't think there's anything dedicated anymore. I mean, sure, Somerset Street was famous for that, but
yeah.
it's not.
Well, there's a place called the Tees, I think now. That's
Oh,
sort of
yes, yes,
like
yeah,
Central
yeah.
Park.
That's a
Central is.
small pub, though.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, there are a couple of tiny places.
yeah. Because at one point there was Icon,
Right.
which was a big club. You had Centertown Pub. There was
Market Square. There was the William Street Pub.
yeah. What was the one at the parking garage? We talked about
the
it.
Coral Reef.
Coral Reef Club.
Yeah.
There's none of
Tactics
that
when I
anymore.
was a kid. That was
Tactics,
that
yeah, that's
was
right
like
in the
that
market.
was a Montreal style dance club.
Yes, yeah, yeah. That
Right.
was at one point it was Lips, and then it became Tactics, and that became a gay bar. And I went to Tactics a couple of times with some friends, and I was like, "Holy shit, the music was banging!"
Banging.
And it was very much styled after a Montreal nightclub. It was a cool spot.
It was
had a
very
huge
cool
dance floor too.
Yeah. And
Because when it changed from Lips to Tactics, all they changed was the name.
yeah, okay.
The
But like,
decor, I think they changed the paint color, but other than that, it was the same place, right?
yeah, and they had like platforms that you can like dance
Yeah.
upon and all like it.
And that's all gone now.
It's all gone. Well, it's condo now that they're building there, right?
Yeah, they're building condos at the back end of it. So
Yeah. So I mean, but it reminds me back in the days when I was like 16, 17, 18, and especially 16. I remember March my first Pride. I wanted to march and I needed to march and I felt I needed to march, right? Because I've been marching for stuff since I was 16, right? But I was so scared to get caught on camera. So scared to be caught on camera because I had no idea what my foster parents were going to think. Petrified,
right.
if I take be caught on camera, but marching anyway.
For good reason, you had that suspicion, as it turned out, right?
Well, I didn't have the suspicion. It's just that
you just didn't want
to. I had found a space. There was a discussion group,
right?
So that I found that I was able to go to, like this, and I was out clearly to the people there and whatnot, and I was out to my mom. But
mothers always know.
My mom didn't.
Really?
No.
Huh.
Originally, interestingly enough, she had no problem with it, but she didn't. She didn't turn around and says, "Oh, I was wondering." So no, I was like, "Oh, okay." So, but
the shot.
I hadn't let anybody at school know, even though at school everybody knew.
Yeah, except for you.
Except for me. Like, because I had known since I was 10, it seems. And all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it was this weird in-out kind of thing at that point. But back then, we went down Rideau Street. And that little patch of grass from I think it is the Pretoria Bridge down to to Elgin Street on one side, I guess, just that little patch. That's where everybody joined. And there was like a barbecue and like, people like guitars and I would play music like this. And it was like, literally, it's a small patch of grass and it was full, but that was it. And now, we're at the part where we get like the lawn of City Hall. Then we had like the whole lawn of City Hall for a while. And now we're closing up streets on Bank Street, right? Yeah. So I remember it being that tiny little thing on a patch of grass. It was just us. And while we did have the fear and all of that kind of stuff, we really did have that sense of community and tight-knit
Mm-hmm.
feeling, and I feel that we have a little bit of that vibe here,
In Kingston.
which is kind of nice. Like the big party and whatnot, and like, Toronto, 1 million people and all that. That's all
Yeah.
nice and stuff like that. But it has that, it still has that homey feeling here. And as I'm getting older, I'm thinking I like that more,
Mhm.
oddly enough. Whereas when I was younger, I liked a good party.
Well, I mean, a good party to me is a couple of pints on a Friday with my buddies. Just
Yeah.
in bed by 10 o'clock.
Mhm. But yeah, that part is that part is kind of nice.
I used to
So
get up at 10 o'clock and go to bed at 4. Now it's pretty much the other way around. I'm old. I'm old. I'm okay with it though. It's a privilege denied to many. I get to turn old, and a lot of people don't. So you have to
Yeah.
see it for what it is. Yeah, sure, you see the frailty of the human body and how it starts to break down, and it's like, well, this is pathetic. Now that I actually understand shit, you're just taking all of the things away from me. That this goes to show that life ain't fair.
Mm.
It's just not fair,
Nope. Indeed. Oh well. But yeah, I hope my beaver sweetie, my friends are having fun. Last night we had a couple we had a small group over for a little bit dinner and potluck. We made some burgers and a chavapi, which is Eastern European, like little sausages and stuff. And some people brought some good things. I thought we had a picture of them, but we didn't. But my friend Roger brought some Pride uh, rice wraps, rice paper wraps. When you go to like a Vietnamese restaurant, like this. So he had like red pepper and yellow pepper and some orange for carrot, and had some like this.
Oh,
But,
okay.
but he,
I couldn't picture. I'm like a pride wrap. How do you?
yeah, like all the
Now
colors and like this, and he
yeah.
dyed the vermicelli blue somehow with food coloring and whatnot. So it's just like they were gorgeous. They were absolutely phenomenally gorgeous. And a friend's Corey brought some macaroni salad, and it was gluten free, so that I could have it. And so that was a nice, thoughtful touch. So yeah, we had a good meal and good times. We were about 6 or 7, and gabbing and chatting and all that kind of stuff. And so it was a nice. It was a nice night, and it was a nice way that I could feel a little bit included, because they were all going out to celebrate after, like this, doing a little something here. It's like, okay, got a little bit of pride with with our friends in our circle and stuff. So it was nice. So like I said, you're right. Like in this whole time where the Smiths, where I'm feeling, oh my God, I'm abandoned, I'm left inside, and whatnot, because they're all going out. Yes, but everybody also made an effort to come over, right, for a few hours, and we had some good times. And then Alex, had the foresight to think of, it's like, well, yeah, I know you're not going to get to participate as much, but here's something we can do.
Right.
So, like I said, it's like mixed emotions, right? Like, and during the day, we were cleaning up for it, and it's like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to. I might stay in my room. I'm not feeling really social, because I was done already. And then about an hour and a half before people arrived, Alex needed a little extra help with stuff, because Alex said, so don't worry, I'll do all the cleaning stuff like that. I know. And he says, yeah, I'm a little behind, and so okay, well, what can I do to help? And by getting involved to help a little bit, it kind of took me out of the funk. And by the time, I'd been helping for about 2 hours by the time they had arrived. And by that time I was like, you know what? I'm actually really happy to see you.
Well, idleness, really drags a person down.
You get lots of time to think.
Yeah, and sometimes you just don't want to think, man.
Sometimes having to, like, I'm all about being thoughtful, especially before you act. But sometimes having too much time to think is not good.
Well, see, right now I'm so tired. I'm thinking I could curl up right here on the bench and take a nap, but I don't think that would be very entertaining for anybody who's watching. So I'll try and stay awake for a little while. I might have to get a cup of coffee. I'm not kidding. I had 1 cup of coffee this morning, and then I poured a second one to get ready to have it, and had to take Lola out. And when I came back, it was ice cold. and I just I don't want this now.
Yeah.
So that might be part of the problem. Not enough sleep and not nearly enough coffee.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I need a coffee or a Red Bull right now. Maybe just I don't know,
Yeah.
a nap.
And that's been a thing for me too, was like added to that. Um, not necessarily not enough sleep, but my cycle has been thrown off. So
Mhm.
like yesterday after we had the night before, Alex had gone out to do something. Well, the hockey man, right? It was the hockey game.
Mhm.
So I fell asleep. We ate and I fell asleep right in the second period. So it was like 9 something. Then like I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning. Well, I was like, I've already had 5.5 hours sleep, which some nights is what I
Is enough.
get.
Yeah.
So I was up till about 6 or something like this, and then I watched the pre-record, live with the kids and cubs, and then I went to sleep.
Well, that's why I was upset about waking up yesterday at 3 a.m. because I didn't have to be up early.
I know, neither did I.
I'm like, hey, I can sleep in this morning. That's not happening. And at 3 a.m. I was wide awake.
Yep.
Not, oh, I guess I go to the toilet. I was like, okay, so too early to do anything. I'm just going to try and go back to sleep. And that didn't work. And then I was sitting on the couch. The show was playing, and I was just starting to nod off a little after 8. And Lola absolutely insisted on going out. And I'm like, all right. So I took her out, had another cup of coffee, came back in, and I'm like, well, that's it now. Now I can't go to sleep, and I couldn't take a nap. So it was kind of a rough day yesterday, and I know that's going to happen. And thankfully, right now, and I said thankfully because once I'm back to work, I can't just okay. Well, I'm just going to try and take a nap. I can't do that. I got to be at work. So I'm trying to adjust. I get up same time every day, try and keep in a routine because my routine's about to change. How that is, I'm not quite sure yet, but I'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm. So,
Yeah.
and because I was up at 2 o'clock in the morning, by 8 o'clock last night, it was
Dead
bedtime.
bedtime. Yeah.
So they left to go to the pub, and I literally stretched out on the sofa. I was asleep again till about 2 in the morning. It's like, oh God,
That'll do
I'm
it.
up again. So yeah, so I am sleeping enough hours, but I'm sleeping them at weird hours.
Mm.
So I actually went to bed again around like 9 o'clock this morning and woke up around noon. So hopefully, with that, I will now be back to maybe like going to bed at around like 10 o'clock tonight or something, and back on
A
a
little
normal
bit more
schedule because I've
normal.
been trying to 2-hour chunks,
Mhm.
shift back to regular time. But yeah, it's just, and my beaver sweetie, God love him. But he came back last night like this, and it's like, okay, he's sleeping. Like it's like I'm not going to wake him up because if I wake him up, he'll have trouble falling back asleep. So he left me on the sofa, which is fine.
Yeah, yeah,
Because,
yeah.
but it's like I woke up on my own, and it's sort of like, oh. And then I looked in the laneway, and the car was there. I was like, oh, he's already back. He says, well, he was back early enough to tap me on the shoulder and say, come to bed. It's like, and it's like half of me is like, when did you ask me to go to bed? And then it
No,
says, yeah, but then I have trouble. Oh,
no,
yeah,
I'm good.
that was
Thanks.
love. That was love.
Yeah,
Right there.
there's times when Bridget's fallen asleep beside me on the couch, and I'm like, I'm going to bed. Uh huh. I'm like, all right, just pull the blanket over and
Yep.
let her sleep
Yep.
because, and then she'll wake up and go, why'd you let me sleep on the couch? Well, I tried to wake you up
Yep.
to go to bed. You didn't. So I decided to just leave you be. She's like, yeah, okay, that was cool.
Yep. Exactly. So yeah, it's but fortunately, I did not totally miss out on Snuggles because
Hmm.
when I went back to bed, my beaver sweetie, even though he had slept a full night, came and like just gave me some Snuggles before getting ready to go to Pride. So again, it's love.
Well, yeah,
I need Snuggles, man. I just do. It's like
I need,
they're like my life fuel.
I need coffee.
See, I need Snuggles like you need coffee.
Yeah, yeah.
Put it that way. I
I'm
need
not.
my 2 cups of snuggles a day, or else.
Well, it's like it's 20 to 3. If I have a cup of coffee now, it would be 20 to 10 by the time the caffeine left my system,
Mm,
which is fine because it's Saturday. But I'm like, once usually I won't have caffeine after 12 noon, just as a rule. I just don't. If I have a cup of coffee in the afternoon, it's because I need it. And that's usually a work related thing where I'm in the office and I'm like, oh, I got to get a coffee or I'm never going to make it through. Uh, I don't, that's not the issue today. Right.
okay.
Like if I get too tired, I'm like, dude, I got to tap out. It's not like I have to punch a clock or anything.
Mm. So yeah, Jay Crick here going, last fall, my neighbor texted me to turn down the music, joking when I had a bonfire, barbecue, and roast. That actually happened yesterday. Our neighbors next door had a fire going of some kind
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know who called. Like this. And Alex is going when the firemen arrived, just like as everybody was getting ready to leave, like this,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like coming onto our laneway. It's like, did you guys call?
No.
Like, no, my beaver sweetie is the type to call.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, but it's like, no, this time it wasn't us. It's just like, oh my God, this time it wasn't us. Really?
I'm not one to call. I just ignore it.
Well,
Just ignore it.
yeah, normally we do, normally we do too, like this, but as you know, last winter,
Mm-hmm.
we had a trailer, camper trailer, put itself in the laneway next to us, the neighbor on the other side, and that plugged itself into the outlet on the side of the house, and we're planning to stay there for the entire winter. And it was like, oh hell no,
In a tent.
we're not having that. So we placed a couple of calls there.
It's not even safe, man.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, but this was like, our neighbors on the other side. It's they got chickens in the yard, and we didn't call when
Yeah.
they started building the coop like this. And trust me, they did not do it according to bylaw because my beaver CD check, they just put it up.
You're allowed to have what, 2 chickens, is it?
I'm not sure on the number like this, but when they started, they had a rooster. And it was like, oh God. And it's like Alex was going to call us. Says, don't bother calling. Trust me, somebody else will for that. And somebody did. It's like we've called enough. It's like, trust me, we're not the only ones who will be off put by this one. But yeah, it was just really weird because we're sitting there like this, we heard they had a little fire crackling, not like this, but I mean we're not in a no burn season, we can get a permit and all that kind of stuff for the entire season. We know we have one.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, and it's not like we were sitting there like this and there was big plumes of smoke or there were chemicals or something or a weird smell, right? Because the one time we did call, we were like, that weird smell like this, and it turns out it was a smoker, but they had put something weird on it, some essence or whatnot. It was like, oh my God, what's that thing that's burning? But this was just a normal sort of and it was before 8 p.m. It was they weren't making noise. There was nothing unamplified about them. They were just enjoying their backyard. Right. So I was like, we're even us who tend my beaver sweetie. I've never called but my beaver sweetie tends to call. They're sitting there going what did they call? They weren't doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
So it was, it was a weird one. It's but we saw them come. It's we're looking at the firemen coming over, and it's sort of oh, we got firemen. It's I ordered them. Ding dong, where's the fire? Hose me down.
I've had people tell me you should get a couple of backyard chickens. I'm like, for my apartment? How am I going to do that? I can't keep chickens in my apartment. That's nasty.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so I guess you have to buy eggs? Yeah, I have to buy eggs.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, but it's when the firemen were coming onto our property to check, it's why are they coming onto our property? We didn't even light anything. It's did you guys call? No.
Well, I'm just thinking about the math. Sorry, I know it's kind of off topic, but you got chickens on my mind now. Somebody's saying, yeah, I got 4 chickens in my backyard. I get free eggs. I'm like, really? How much effort for the chickens? How much did you pay for the chickens? How much do you pay for the feed? How free exactly are those eggs?
Mm.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I guess when you put it like that way, yeah, they're not free. You paying? Sorry, I had chicken on the brain.
Yeah.
Let me
I see
go.
your cat, Kit Kat says Kit Kat. Ah, just got it. A friend, musician, author from Hamilton had his first book launch on Wolf Island, Kingston, Thursday, and he's in Ottawa today at the Avant Garde Bar. Please tell us who is your friend, and
And what's the
if you
book?
know the title of the book.
I know where the Avant Garde Bar is. I've been there a few times.
Yeah, we don't mind giving him a plug here.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Oh wow. Oh my God, I'm this old. The Chaudière. Oh my lost youth. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
shot. Yeah,
Oh,
shot.
that's before my time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have another shot. I was there once or twice. I think once, twice, maybe twice. I don't remember. My dad went to the shot back in the '60s when he was stationed here in the early '60s, and he said, "Oh, you went to the shot? Yeah, yeah." He said, "Yeah, I used to go there." I'm like, "Yeah, the place is quite old."
Mm, okay. Actually, Kat answered the question before I had even asked it. His name is Dave Pomfret, and his book is called Lily.
Oh, cool.
So there you go. Get some guts.
What's it about? Can you tell us? I'm just
Oh,
curious.
good idea. Yes, yes. So a book recommendation there if you're looking to add something to your reading list this summer.
Hmm.
Pardon me, I have to burp.
Oh well, you can go ahead and do that. You
Right.
don't have four-wheelers driving up and down the road on Saturday night. I guess that's for Jay, is it? Because yeah, it's definitely not applying to me. We have lots of four-wheeled vehicles driving up and down the road on Saturday night, making lots of noise, and oftentimes we hear fire trucks and police sirens because there's a fire station not far from here, and that's just part of the joy of living downtown. I get used to those sounds, and I find when I like if I go out into the country for a weekend, it's like, oh, it's a relief. But longer than that, it's kind of it's too quiet. I don't like it
Mm.
because you're
Ooh,
used, right?
yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, that was it. That was it.
Oh, I saw Kit Taffy G said, I went to read the synopsis and sounds interesting. So if there was a synopsis, I went to look for it here. And it says Lily by Dave Pomfret. Alan Isaac's world teeters on the edge of chaos. Haunted by a family legacy of addiction and mental illness, he stubbornly clings to the hope of a normal life. But when his most inspired effort to attain that ideal turns sideways, Alan finds himself navigating a fractured reality where the lines between love, guilt, and imagination blur, often with hilarious results. With each step deeper into this new existence, Alan must confront hidden truths, unravel mysteries, and fight for connection that transcends loss, devastation, and even time itself. In mind bending psychological drama, Lily is a poignant exploration of a father's devotion, the power of memory, and the question that lingers: what is real?
Sounds interesting.
That definitely sounds interesting.
Um,
Mm.
I think I'm going to have to tap out, sir. Uh,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
no, my head. I have a splitting headache right now, and I have a lot of lights on me, and I don't want to be unpleasant. And I don't really when my head starts to pound like this, I don't have a lot to say for obviously good reason because you're in pain. But I'm trying to look away from the lights right now because they're really starting to bother me. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but I am going to have to tap out. If you want to carry on, I put a link in the chat if anybody wants to join, so you can join as well. I'll put the link back in there again. So if anybody wants to click on it, you can join the show. But if you want to carry on, sir, by all means. But I'm going to have to tap out because I can't I can't stomach this much longer. It's starting to take its toll on me physically.
Yep. Okay. Absolutely. Self care, number one.
Sorry, folks. It just sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles, and that's how my cookie is crumbling today. So thanks for coming out on a Saturday afternoon. I appreciate spending time with you, and I hope I wasn't too much of a Debbie Downer today. But I'm just that's how I'm feeling, and sometimes that's how it is. So take care, and I'll see you later.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Grizzly. I'll try to keep on for a little bit. We have somebody doing some repair work next door, so I'm not sure if you hear the rumbling of some type of compressor being picked up by the mic. But if you do, That's what's going on there, and I apologize for that. I was trying to put my mic on a mute while Mr. Grizzly was talking so that you would hear it as little as possible. Um, for those of you who are into musicals and stuff like that, Broadway, we had the Tony Awards happen a couple of days ago, about last week. And I don't know if you heard, but there was a little bit uh, of a scandal uh, with regard to a very, very big legend. Well, two of the biggest legends on Broadway. Um, and there are people that are have been labeling it the War of the Mama Roses. But it's Patti LuPone, who everybody knows, if you're into that, is just one of the goddesses and divas of onstage performance. And Audra McDonald, who, again, another one, legend. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, uh, she is the only live-in theater actress more decorated than Patti LuPone herself. I think she has like 6 Tony Awards on her own. She's just amazing. There's nothing that woman cannot sing. Um, and it seems that there was, I don't know if you want to say feud-ish, this, but I wanted to read something to you because it was really interesting. It's Jason P. Frank from something called Vulture. Um, and basically, how to put it, a lot of people, Patti LuPone had made some comments about Audra McDonald and thought that they were somewhat demeaning. And you'll see there's a point to this that I'm making. It's not just a gossip thing. Um, so he says it was only a matter of time, with Patti LuPone's relationship to Sunset Boulevard and Andrew Lloyd Webber famously mended over the past 12 months. She must begin a feud with a new theater legend. On June 1st, LuPone apologized for demeaning comments towards Audra McDonald, as I mentioned, the only living theater actress more decorated than LuPone herself, and fellow Broadway veteran Keisha Lewis after starting drama in a recent New Yorker profile. Previously, the theater community had come to the defense of McDonald and Lewis, releasing an open letter on May 30th that called LuPone's remarks a blatant act of racialized disrespect. McDonald currently stars as Mama Rose in Gypsy. If you don't know the musical Gypsy, you really do need take some time to see it. It's really worth your time. And was nominated for Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role in a Musical, an award that LuPone herself won in 2008 for the portrayal of the theater's most vicious stage mother. LuPone has been a vocal proponent of Nicole Scherzinger's nominated performance in Sunset Boulevard all season. And with the Tonys on June 8th, this vexation has dramatic timing. So basically, it's Broadway's biggest diva dust-up since Leah Michelle's Funny Girl, according to those, if you're following that. Now, Nicole Scherzinger, if you've, again, I haven't a chance to go see on Broadway, so the only thing I get to see is a couple of things that have been on TV, and she did a musical number on the Colbert Show, where she sang one of the songs from Sunset Boulevard, Everything's as If We've Never Said Goodbye. And again, if you have not seen that, you need to make a note and go to your YouTube, The Late Show, Nicole Scherzinger, right? As If We've Never Said Goodbye. It's spectacular, right? Now, for those who the name Nicole Scherzinger rings a bell, but you're not exactly quite sure from where, she was the lead singer from the Pussycat Dolls. Okay? She's doing Broadway stuff now. And if you thought she could sing when she was doing pop, that woman can sing. Oh my word, that woman can sing. So you treat yourself to watching that if you have the opportunity. So Patti LuPone made some comments that were considered demeaning and disrespectful to both Lewis and Audra McDonald. And later on, to her credit, she said, Patti LuPone came out to say, "For as long as I've worked in theater, I have spoken my mind and have never apologized. That is changing today. I am deeply sorry for the words I used during the New Yorker interview, particularly about Keisha Lewis, which were demeaning and disrespectful. I regret my flippant and emotional responses during this interview, which were inappropriate, and I am devastated that my behavior has offended others and has run counter to what we hold dear in this community. I hope to have the chance to speak to Audra and Keisha personally to offer my sincere apologies. I wholeheartedly agree with everything that was written in the open letter shared yesterday. From middle school drama clubs to professional stages, theater has always been about lifting each other up and welcoming those who feel they don't belong anywhere else. I made a mistake. I take full responsibility for it, and I'm committed to making this right. Our entire community deserves better. So, um, the, por- the portion in this apology about um, theater always being about lifting each other up and welcoming those who feel they don't belong anywhere else. Just kind of a theme that goes with pride as well, right? Lifting each other up because some of us feel we don't belong. But here we have a Broadway legend who has a reputation for, making bold statements, I guess, and never apologizing, realizing, ooh, yeah, I definitely crossed the line. So, um, in this, Lapone and Keisha Lewis had a rising of the tensions around 2024. At the time, Lupone was starring in the play The Roommate opposite Mia Farrow at the Booth Theater, while Lewis was in the Alicia Keys Jukebox musical Hell's Kitchen at the Schubert, which shares a wall with the booth. According to Lupone, sound bled through the walls from Hell's Kitchen into the much quieter play. Lupone was seen on video on October 16th refusing to sign a Hell's Kitchen's playbill because the show is, quote, too loud, and later apparently asked Hell's Kitchen to turn down the sound, which it did. Lapone's sound change request was not made public until Lewis responded to Lapone on November 2nd in an Instagram video. In it, she addressed, quote, veterans such as yourself, and including myself, requested an apology and embedded the video of Lapone not signing the fans' playbill. Quote, I wanted to address this because Miss Lapone, these actions, in my opinion, are bullying, Lewis states. They're offensive, they are racially microaggressive, they're rude, they're rooted in privilege. McDonald, who has not performed with Lewis and is not known to be personally connected to her, commented with the emojis heart, heart, clap, clap under Lewis's video. It did not go unnoticed. In its coverage of Lewis's video, People magazine referred to McDonald's comments. So, of course, Patti LuPone, as a legend, did not like that. And in a May 26 New York profile by Michael Schulman, LuPone kicked things up far past allegedly shady emojis. Quote, I thought you should know better. LuPone responded to McDonald's comment. That's typical of Audra. She's not a friend. Meow. Lupone and McDonald, it turns out, have, quote, some long ago rift in Schulman's words, though Lupone did not want to say what it was about. When asked about McDonald's current Tony-nominated production of Gypsy, Lupone looked out the window before saying, what a beautiful day. Meow mix? Saucer of milk, perhaps? Before talking about McDonald, Lupone also directly responded to Lewis's video for the first time, calling her a bitch. Okay. She questioned Lewis's reference to both herself and Lupone as Broadway veterans, even though McDonald has 6 Tony Awards. Quote, here's the problem. She calls herself a veteran, Lupone rebuffs. Let's find out how many Broadway shows Keisha Lewis has done because she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. See, Lupone doesn't hold her tongue. Adds that a vet would know that, quote, this is not unusual on Broadway. This happens all the time when walls are shared. For reference, Lewis won a Tony for Hell's Kitchen in 2024 and has been in a total of 10 Broadway shows, in comparison to 3-time Tony winner Lupone's 28 productions. McDonald, whom Lupone does appear to consider a fellow vet, has been in 15. So, uh, basically, Lupone and McDonald, because they've been on stage so long, they've known each other too. They've never acted alongside one another, but they've performed together. They were both part of the beloved Six Ladies in Red, who performed in Sondheim, the birthday concert in 2010. In 2000, they performed in the New York Philharmonic's production of Sweeney Todd together, with Lupone as Mrs. Lovett and McDonald as the bigger woman. But most notably, they acted together as 2 female leads in Rise and Fall of the City of Mahogany, with the Los Angeles Opera in 2007, which was taped for PBS's Great Performances and won Best Opera Recording and Best Classical Album at the 2009 Grammy Awards. When asked about the experience in a 2023 interview with Broadway World, McDonald said the words that she associated with the production were sexy costumes on stage, fun with Patti LuPone. So McDonald addressed LuPone in an interview with Gayle King for CBS Sunday Morning uh, and said, I mean, if there's a rift between us, I don't know what it is, McDonald says in a preview shared to the show's TikTok on May 29th. Quote, that's something you'll have to ask Patti about. I haven't seen her in about 11 years, just because we've been busy just with life and stuff. So I don't know what rift she's talking about, but you'd have to ask her. So then, of course, all of Broadway responded to this riff, right? I think there was like over 500 members of the Broadway community that signed an open letter to condemn LuPone's remarks. Quote, this language is not only degrading and misogynistic, it's a blatant act of racialized disrespect. It constitutes bullying, it constitutes harassment, it is emblematic of the microaggressions and abuse that people in this industry have endured for far too long, too often without consequences. And, lots of big names had signed it. And then it continued, it called on the American Theater Wing to make it so, quote, individuals, including Patti LuPone, who used their platform to publicly demean, harass, or disparage fellow artists, particularly with racial, gendered, or otherwise violent language, should not be welcome at industry events, including the Tony Awards, fundraisers, and public programs. So it looks like there was like a big effort to respond to this. Um, a lot of people, decided that they were going to be sharing their opinions on that. Um, so all of this kind of came to a head in a certain way. I know that Patti LuPone put out the apology, but the Tony ceremony happened, and during there are often live performances during the Tony Awards, and Audra McDonald got on the stage to sing uh, the song from Gypsy, Rose's song. So, if you don't know the story of Gypsy a bit, it's about a stage mother has some two daughters, and she's really trying to make them famous. And one of them, Gypsy, June, I guess, who then goes by stage name Gypsy Rose Leaves, becomes uh, a super famous burlesque performer, right? And there comes a time where Mama Rose, it's called Rose's Turn. She's basically sitting there, and if you don't know the song, uh, a lot of it is about being in the background, right, as a stage mother, and especially if you were, let's say, a stage mother who never had a chance to make it on their own and is living vicariously through their children, let's say, right? So she's this is about her having her moment. So she's like, why did I do it? What did it get me? Scrapbooks full of me in the background. Give 'em love, and what does it get you? What does it get you? One quick look as each one of them leaves you. All your life, what does it get you? Thanks a lot, and out with the garbage. Take the bows, and you're batting zero. As with the theme that I sort of came into the show today a little bit with abandonment, right? And then she goes, I had a dream. I dreamed it for you, June. It wasn't for me, Herbie. And if it wasn't for me, then where would you be, Miss Gypsy Rose Lee? So she's almost like resenting her daughter a bit. And then she goes into it. Well, someone tell me, when is it my turn? Don't I get a dream for myself? Starting now, it's going to be my turn. Gangway world, get out of my runway. Starting now, I bat 1,000. This time, boys, I'm taking the bows and then you get into the part that everybody knows, right? Everything's coming up rose. Um, so this song is the musical, which is usually portrayed, right, by a white woman, is, Mama Rose sort of having the meltdown because she feels that she gave and gave and gave and gave and gave, and nobody appreciated it, and she never had her shot. I could have been a star too. But in this context, when Audra McDonald got on the stage and sang it, it had a whole other context, right? 6 Tony Awards, and Miss Lapone comes out and suggests in some way that I'm not a veteran, and I'm not an equal, and that I'm not. What's the difference? So all of a sudden, when she's singing, when is it my turn? It's not so much anymore about a stage mother who never got her shot, right? But about, damn it, I've been doing this for 15 years or how many years like this. I've got 6 awards, whatnot, and you still can't consider me one of yours. If you have the opportunity somewhere online to find the performance of Audra McDonald singing Rose's song at the Tonys, again, take the time to go and watch it. Okay. A lot of people make the comment, oh my God, that's so over the top. You might think that. But when you consider, we have an expression in French, un cri du cœur, right? A scream from the heart. If you look at the performance and the context of someone from a different race, that is, race that has been pushed down, someone having incredible achievement throughout their entire career consistently over years and years and years and years, and not getting her due. All of a sudden, that performance takes on so much color, so much different texture. She blew the walls off that theater, and she got the standing ovation that she absolutely deserved for that. But it was like this one moment in time. That song will never be performed in that way with that emotion and that intensity ever, ever, ever again, right? You cannot recreate that moment. Oh my word. If you want to see somebody perform from their soul, like from the depths of their soul, do try and find it. Um, it's fantastic. So yeah, even if like Broadway and that type of singing and whatnot is really not your thing, there's these 2 performances. Nicole Scherzinger singing Every Time, uh, As If We've Never Said Goodbye from Colbert, and Audra McDonald, Rose's song from Gypsy, live from the Tony Awards. You absolutely need to take some time to take a look at these and take them in, because that is some singing and performing like this. And in the case of Audra McDonald's, like from the tip of her toes, right, to the last bit of her hair, right? Everything is involved in that, and it's really, really something spectacular to see. Geeking out because, of course, musical theater is something that I like very much and that I participate in, do shows and all that kind of stuff. Um, but it's bigger than just musical theater. Right? So both McDonald and Scherzinger were nominated for Best Actress, leading actress in a musical during the Tonys. And I mean, the only thing that could have made the night better for McDonald is had she won her 7th. She didn't. Scherzinger won for Sunset Boulevard, and her acceptance speech was 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 nice and recognized a lot of things, right? Um, because I'm sure a lot of people know, but Nicole Scherzinger is also multiracial, right? She's got some Filipino and some Ukrainian in there as well. Um, but like Scherzinger won the award, but McDonald won the night. She just took the night because the only thing anybody was able to talk about, and it's still a week later, and people are writing essays. This was what she did on that stage in that one moment that will never exist again in this way. It's absolutely fantastic. So if you do have an opportunity, please, please, please do treat yourself to that because it's definitely worth your time to watch. So there you go. Thank you for indulging me in geeking out a little bit on that type of stuff. But I did have the opportunity. I had been looking for a while, and I had an opportunity to see them this morning before I came on the show. The Nicole Scherzinger number I had seen a while ago, and I've watched it like 20 or 30 times since. I even like the song so much that I actually learned the lyrics so that I can sing it for myself because I'm thinking next time I need an audition piece, it might be a good one to use. But yeah, I finally was able to find a link at some point today. I still didn't find one that wasn't interrupted by a commercial. I guess because I would have loved to have preferred to have been able to see it all in one stretch and not have like the moment cut. But if you can find the whole thing beginning to end somewhere, trust me, you will not regret having seen it, especially now that you know the context behind the performance. Um, I'm not sure I would have been able to have that poise in that moment. Um, but this is someone who took something that was unjust that was happening to them, yes, grabbed it all. Yes, maybe there was some genuine anger, but used it as fuel and channeled it positively into a performance for the ages. And I just cannot um, have more respect for Audra McDonald. And trust me, I had a lot of respect for her before. If you ever hear her singing from Porgy and Bess, um, that woman has a voice that's just ridiculous. Um, but in that moment, whatever esteem I had for her, it just doubled and tripled and quadrupled because, like I'm sitting there, like, that's how you do it. That is exactly how you respond. I'm not a veteran. I'm not worthy. I'm not a. Watch this, sister. And she just laid it right down. Again, credit to Miss Lapone for realizing her error. Because sometimes when you make an error like that, you can't come back from it. So, and trying to make things right, and hopefully the rest will happen. The actual face-to-face apologies and all that kind of stuff to make it right. Who knows? Maybe if this actually does get made right in the right way, we might be able to look forward to maybe some musical where all three of them are cast together and working together. Sometimes there are ways for these bad moments to turn out and create an opportunity if people are able to put their egos aside enough. And trust me, when you're talking Broadway divas, people have egos. So, but if you can take that, there could be something down the line if the whatever rift there was or whatnot can be repaired. There could be some really, really gorgeous stuff to come. But yeah, um, some drama, exactly. And, a little bit of mouth talking faster than the brain worked and whatnot. And like I said, fortunately, Miss Lapone had the good sense to realize her mistake and apologize unreservedly, which is something she never does. And Audra McDonald, rather than getting down into the gutter, just used the moment and elevated herself. And she's already pretty much at the top of the pyramid as it stands. So to elevate yourself when you're all in that manner, when you're already at the top, it's just she is now, as far as I'm concerned, reached undeniable status with that performance. And I was just like, you know what? That's how you do it. Somebody kicks you down, you go out and you kick ass. So yeah, um, indeed. All right, let's see. I'm trying to come up with things to talk about. I'm going to see if there's anything here in the chat here uh, from the kids here. Uh, yes, for those who have joined us a little later here, um, as we mentioned, today was the day of the mental health walk. Unfortunately, um, as you know, we weren't able to do everything that we needed to do to be able to have an event as organized as last year. Um, Elections, number one, right? We were busy up until April 28th with an election. And then, you know, uh, various challenges, breaking my foot certainly didn't help. And, having to take care of some stuff closer to home. Yes, Mr. Grizzly and I have both had some personal issues over the course of the year that needed us to dedicate more time to taking care of that than we had time to put into the walk. So, unfortunately, it was very, we encouraged people to participate in that type of stuff, and things were very small this year. I personally was not able to walk, which is why you see this background here for me because I'm still at home in Kingston. I'm not, I didn't feel safe enough to be alone in another city in case I had a stumble or a trip or something. And would need some extra help. So I did not participate in the walk this year. And Mr. Grizzly, unfortunately, sometimes his body doesn't cooperate with him. And that was the case today. So unfortunately, we did not get to walk today. My personal 5K walk is going to be a little bit delayed. I do intend to do it when I am able to get my air cost off and invite a friend out and go for a walk. But I was not able to do it on the day. Uh, so yes, we talked a little bit about some mental health stuff at the beginning of the show, um, because both of us were having a bit of a tougher day. However, in my case, some chatting with the Dan fam and all that kind of stuff have made the day better. Mr. Grizzly had to tap out from the show, unfortunately, because he was starting to have some migraines and whatnot, and the lights were a little too bright. So those of you who are at the pubcast and are just tuning in now and see me all alone and there's no pub, that's why. um, but we still hope that today, for those who are watching and those who have heard our message, that you do have some time today to go out and do take that walk and let us know what you've done. And next year, because we will not, hopefully, have a federal election coming up in our lead up to it, we will be able to do more and have the event next year that we had hoped to have this year and actually grow it because we're not abandoning the idea and we do intend to follow through on trying to make it a charity officially and all of that kind of stuff. But yes, this year circumstances oblige. It had to be scaled down and pared down. And I mean, even our partners in L'Orange were not able to participate as much because there were wildfires. And I think it was just 2 days ago where 7,000 residents were finally given the okay to go home. So there was no opportunity to present anything there. On that, though, however, Mr. Chris Morasti, who you had a chance to meet last year, did ask me to convey some information. And I don't think that there's a better time to do it than now, although we are probably also going to do it on the show because we wanted this news to get out. Even though they weren't able to do anything with the walk specifically, the Men of the North program does have an event coming up if you happen to be in the Prince Albert community on June 15th, 2025. Uh, that there will be an event. Mr. Morasti will be the keynote speaker at an event, and it's called The Hidden Crisis Understanding Men and Boys and What We Can Do to Help to Explore Solutions, Healing, and Purpose. So it will be July 15th, 2025 at 12:30 in the afternoon at the Nordale Community Club, 1306 6th Avenue, Northwest, Prince Albert. And you can register now by calling 306 420 9540, or you can send an email to CT Marasti, so CTMERASTY at gmail.com. And I am going to put it up here on the screen for a couple of seconds so that you can see it. And kids and cubs, if you can remind me before we close out for the day to actually, take a look at that as well. And that I could put it back up so that people will have the time to note some things down, especially if you're in the area or if you have people that you love in the area who might benefit from that. So here, I'm going to make it a little bigger while it's on screen, which will probably help to jot down some details at the moment if you are doing so. But yes, please remind me before if I forget as I'm closing off the show, and I will put it back up again to give you some time to make some notes if you don't have time to grab a pen and a paper at the current moment. But yes, just wanted to let you know that we did take the time to reach out and to let them know that we were thinking of them. I sent love on behalf of all of us and let them know that we were thinking of them. And hopefully next winter, next summer, um, the weather in that area will be a little gentler and will allow uh, men from the north to participate in the walk because it's an absolute fantastic program that does deserve support. And said kids and cubs, um, uh, if it's something that you would wanted to do was to direct a little bit of support to the organization yourself, I'm sure that would be appreciated at that end because I'm sure with 7,000 people having to have evacuated for about a week, and I believe that there was some damage, structural damage in a couple of places in Larange, Saskatchewan, as a result of the fires. There might be some people um, that might need the services of a program like Men of the North a little more this year than in previous years. So, yeah. Um, but yes, happy to report that about one day ago, the evacuees started returning to Larange, and a lot of them are very much happy to be doing that. According here, I'm just looking at CTV News. Fires leveled several houses and cabins in areas surrounding Larange. Within the town site, two businesses were lost: Robertson Trading and the Rona next door. So, a couple of workplaces, of course, have been destroyed as well, which is going to affect some people here. Um, Robertson Trading was a fur trading company specifically, and it was considered a cultural pillar and popular tourist attraction in the community for nearly 6 decades. Um, but it housed about 100 furs and countless indigenous artifacts, artworks, and clothing items that told the history of the fur trade, settlers, and indigenous people. And a lot of that is now gone. So there are as well some probably very strong feelings with regard to losing these items of history. Um, Scott Robertson, I believe is his name, who's the co-owner of the fur trading company, is quoted here in this article as saying, "I'm still in the process of processing, if that makes sense. I drive by here every day. I find it hard to believe. Everybody feels the loss. I've always felt that this town should have some kind of an art gallery, a cultural center, and so we hoarded all kinds of stuff, hoping one day, somewhere, somehow, that would evolve. By doing that, by keeping all of our eggs in one basket, it turns out to be a gigantic mistake." So, yeah, I'm just taking it one day at a time. We're not going to resurrect this building. I can't see it happening, he says. So, yeah, it's said the community has lost a decent amount. So, yeah, if you are so inclined, I'm sure that that would be very much appreciated. And if you are looking to reach them specifically or would like to find out more about what it is that they do, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, uh, whoops, I made a mistake here while I'm trying to bring up the website. I believe if you go to menofthenorth.com, that will, nope, that is not correct. Okay, maybe it's themenofthenorth.com. No, either. Okay, so their website might be down at the moment. Uh, there might be some internet disruptions at the site at the point. No, actually, it is not. Okay, it's just that it wasn't .com, it was .net. So I'm going to put it up here in the chat for you, kits and cubs. If you would like to find out more about this organization, uh, community partner, right from the get-go, when we reached out to them, um, said there could be greater need this year. So if you are able to help, please do. I'm sure it would be very much appreciated, and it's a much needed program that does a lot of good. Okay, there we go, kids and cubs. Looking through the chat here, seeing if you guys have anything else for me here. So yes, everybody there. Okay, can be easily Googled. Perfect. Thank you so much. That was Kit Laurie saying that it could be easily Googled here. Going here, Kit Tavi T. It's really nice to see the passion Douglas has for the different arts. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm. Yeah, I'm, as you know, big booster of the arts and big fan of them, even the ones that in which I have no skill whatsoever. Oh my God. Uh, I've always admired people who can draw and paint and sculpt and just make things appear that look absolutely gorgeous. That's something that's a talent I do not have at all. I can dance, I can act, I can sing, um, through various genres from children's theater all the way like to heavy dramas, that kind of stuff. But put a pencil in my hand and ask me to draw something. Yeah, not much happens. So yeah, uh, all the art forms, they all contribute, and they can all intersect and be paired together and work in different ways. And so yeah, even the ones and even with dance, right? I mean, I'm a lyrical dancer and a little bit of a jazz dancer and whatnot by training. Um, you know, touched on some uh, Latin and ballroom, not in terms of like lessons and courses, but sometimes you needed a little bit for certain shows, and some participation in not participation, pairing and pairing work and stuff like that. But I'm not um, anywhere much very experienced in ballroom. I'm not at all experienced in tap. Uh, do not have the flexibility in the legs for ballet. Um, you know, 'cause and even like I've never learned any traditional cultural dancing, right? So all of it to me is fascinating because I'm fascinated with movement in all the various shapes and forms, right? I mean, when I watch Irish clog dancing, I just cannot believe that feet can move that fast, right? When I watch some folk dancing that's more from China, um, just the synchronization when you have a group of people and how everybody can move as one in that type of unit always fascinates me. Um, you know, as in all things with life, right? Like people with straight hair want curly hair, people with curly hair want straight hair, people who act want to direct, directors just want to act. So, like, when I see somebody do a dance move that my body does not allow me to do, right? And I've got stuff that I do that maybe their bodies don't allow them to do, but it's just like, oh my God, I so want to be able to do that. I so want to be able to do that. So just the amount of awe that you can have for people who do the things that you can't do or participate in art forms that are not yours, but that you may be able to understand a little bit. Um, you know, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and fortunately, as an artist, the few times that I get to indulge myself as an artist, and when we get to intersect stuff, when we get to mix acting with puppetry, for example, or again, acting with singing, when you get to mix visual arts with the stage in certain ways, of shape, or form, uh, you just meet the most incredible and most interesting people, and like, in just different walks of life. Like, I remember when we did "We Will Rock You," there was us, but then there was the band, and we come from 2 different places when we're coming to the show, and we each rehearse on our own, for the longest time until we start coming together, because for the longest time, we just have a piano accompanist, right? So there's, like, nobody counting beats with drums, whatnot, and it's like when the drummer arrives finally for the first time. It's like, "Oh, that's when I'm supposed to put my foot down," because it coincides with the beat rather than a gap in the notes in the piano, and it just and we get to hang out with them a little bit, right? So, the drummers and the bass players are always the coolest for some reason. I do not know why. It's in me. I don't know if it has to do with the instrument, whatnot, but they're always the coolest people on any show that I've been in. Uh, but you get to sit there and you find that okay, you guys are doing music for a Broadway type show, but like normally, oh, you're in a hard rock band. Oh, you're in a jazz band usually. Oh, wait a minute, you play a period instrument from, like, the 1700s, like, that's your usual thing, and, like, now you're here? So you get to realize that, just because people can play one type of music or prefer one type of music, doesn't mean that that's all they do, or that's the limit of their talent, and, you get to learn a lot about people, and you get to see them. I always say that people are never more attractive, not in a dating or sexual sense, but in a magnetic sense, drawing people to you. People are never more attractive than when they are doing something that they love and that they're good at. There's just a glow, they radiate in some way, right? And you just can't take your eyes off them like this. Or you feel like it's like, okay, this person has given me some really good stuff. Because and you just like you're still and you pay attention and just enjoy it. So it's nice to see people, and sometimes they're people with whom you've worked a couple of times before, right? Especially, if you're in a city like Kingston or Ottawa, which is small enough that you're gonna, stumble upon the same people over and over again, and you get to see them in different contexts, doing different material, different performances. There's a gentleman here in Kingston. His name is Phil Perrin. He's an actor that I love, and I've had the opportunity to share the stage with him a couple of times, and very well known as a great, great, great comedic actor. When you need a bumbling old man or something like that, or a hapless head of the household, that type of thing. Uh, he's great. He's absolutely fantastic. But he's in a play right now in the city called Decrepitude Blues. where it's about like an older person. They realize that their body's sort of like falling apart right now, like this, and they're resentful, but there's all the weird, sometimes unintentionally funny moments in life that happen with that. So he's able to put his comedic skills uh, to the test in those moments. But there's a lot of dramatic moments in this one that I had never seen him in a play having that opportunity to do, because most of the plays that we've been in together have been some pretty broad comedies like this, with some, even some physical comedy, right? Um, he's brilliant in it. He's just brilliant in it, right? So, and even though I've known of this man like 6, 7 years, it's the first time I've seen him in this type of opportunity to do this type of work. And it's like, oh, damn. Okay. So you're not just funny, right? There's more to your talent than that. So, yeah, every now and then, when you get to see people, it's one of the things I like about the arts is you get to see people in their element, um, doing what they do best, and doing what they love, and you see them glow and you see them shine, and then if you follow them long enough, you get to see them do different types of things that uh, you know when you have an appreciation for someone's range, and everybody has a stronger suit. I love drama. I love to do it, this, but I'm definitely more naturally a physical, a comedic actor and a physical comedy actor. I mean, that just comes naturally to me. That's right into my element. Anything that involves movement or my body, or just you know having absolutely no shame and having to make an ass of myself on stage in some way for laughs, right? That's right up my alley. I almost don't have to think about that. It's like it's my home base. Um, you know, but every now and then you get a chance to do work that's important, right? And and dig deep and find something. Every now and then you get presented with a role. I remember when I got presented a chance to do a short play called Crans and Bernardo, where the role that I played is somebody who is entirely unlikable in any way. Because, and the only reason that someone might respond to me in that play is because, as unlikable as I am, because it was just a two-person play, I am just a smidge more likable than the other person, the other character in the play. So it's two very unlikable people. Because, but one of them's redeeming grace is that ultimately they realize, right? They had the opportunity to do something really bad, and they did do it. But as soon as they did it, they realized, oh my God, that's terrible. And then immediately tried to undo the damage as much as possible. And that damage could not be completely undone. But it was the difference between someone living and dying. The life afterwards, not that great, but it was the difference. And that was the one redeeming quality that happened to save that person. But I was reading that and I was thinking, oh my God, I can't do this. This person's like flying off the handle all the time, just like mad. And I remember I was doing the play and it was a short play. It was just 45 minutes, but my whole body was sore because I had to be so angry and just always ready to pounce, that the tension in my body throughout the whole thing, like holding your body tense and ready to, like this for 45 minutes straight. In the performance, it's one thing, but when you're rehearsing 2, 3 hours like this and several days in a row. Um, that that was hard. It was very, very hard. And I wasn't sure I could do it, and the person who picked me, who I'd worked with before, and I've never done that type of work, and it's like, "Are you sure?" And you just, like, turned around and said, "Douglas, you're a force. I know you can do this." But I had no idea I could do this, and I was not confident at all, like, not in the least. And from the place from where I started to the place where I got by the time we got onto that stage was light years in terms of skill and ability and whatnot, and that has served me very, very well afterwards. And I was able to pick up a couple of other uh, meteor dramatic roles that I probably would not have gotten before had I not had the opportunity to do that type of work and somebody believed in me that I could play that type of character. Because normally when I play a character, there's always something of me in it that I recognize, right? Oh, there's a situation. Oh, yeah, I've been there. I know how to play that emotion because I know what to draw upon in my past to go there and do that and be convincing. But for that one, there was nothing. There was nothing at all. I had to create it all out of thin air of my imagination, what I thought it could be and what I thought could feel right, and try to imagine, like, if I was a person that was that angry or that bitter or that nasty, what would I be like? Right? To try to make it real and not trying to not make it a cartoon or caricature. Um, but this person saw me do other things, and I did work for them before, and was supremely confident that I was going to be able to do it. And yeah, um, I surprised myself a lot on that one. And yeah, turns out as hard as it was something that was very, very, very good for me. So yeah, um, I yeah, I think I will always be some type of artist in some way, shape, or form. And I think it, you know, if I don't go out singing and dancing, I did something wrong. Let's just put it that way. um, Kit Tabby G asks here, did you get to do any gardening this year? I remember you did last summer. Yes, yes, we did. Last year, as you know, if you've been following the show, we did more of a test garden, planted a couple of things in certain spots to see what our soil was like, because we had dug everything up, and we did the thing where we put, the cardboard under, and then had like a whole bunch of, the earth manure mix and all that kind of stuff, and brought in and we spread it around. And so last year we did pretty well. We didn't plant all that much, but the tomatoes, mostly baby tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, and oh, I can't remember the name of them, but they're tomatoes that sort of like look like little light bulbs, little balloons. Those did very well. The spinach did great. The lettuce did great. The peppers didn't grow at all for some reason. A couple of habaneros, but the bell peppers, not at all. The chamomile, as soon as we planted it, lost the will to live, pretty much. Uh, uh, so, some things didn't work, some things did. We did make a mistake in leaving a lot of the baby tomatoes on the ground, and we have a lot of them, little plants starting that we're going to have to weed a lot of them out. Uh, but this year, we did plant more things, and like we actually have like a chart with our garden, what we have elsewhere. So this year we tried some corn. A lot of the seeds didn't take. I think we planted like a, a lot of them, and I think there's only two or three that took. But we tried some corn, some beans. Again, the salad, sorry, lettuce, um, spinach. We brought two tomato plants that had bigger tomatoes this year, and they seem to be very, very happy. We planted some carrots, we planted some beets. The other mistake we did was to not uh, uh, prune the cilantro that we needed, that we had well enough, and all the seeds went everywhere. Now we just have so much cilantro; it's absolutely ridiculous. So we have to try and thin those out as well. Let's see, what else did we put in? A whole bunch of onions, green onions, Spanish onions, red onions. Those are very, very, very happy. We're not sure about the carrots. We don't seem to see any real evidence that the carrots that we planted are doing anything yet. So I'm not sure. It just takes more time. Um, we did plant some peppers. We do have the jalapeno did well. This year, the chamomile that we planted last year, uh, it's super happy this year. It's huge. So we've been taking the flowers and making some tea out of that. We have been eating lettuce and spinach from the garden and lots of herbs. Um, we had a lovage plant last year that we tried, and that one didn't take. And we tried to find one this year, and unfortunately did not find that. So hopefully next year we'll be able to do that, get some lovage going on. It's um, an herb that's a bit like celery, I guess, gives a taste of celery, but it's very, very prominent in Romanian cooking, and Alex loves it. And we definitely have trouble finding plants, so we are trying to grow it. And last year was not successful. We planted many seeds, and again, I think only two of them took, and they sort of popped out and then lost the will to live again. Um, this season, however, because the spring we had was cool and we had lots of rain, the garden is very, very, very happy. And like I said, we have been munching and eating from it already, and uh, enjoying some of the fruits of our labor. And we still have plans to make it different because we still didn't use the full garden space. We would have wanted to try some broccoli and some cauliflower as well. We also planted some rhubarb this year, and that one seems to be relatively happy. Um, so yeah, we also have a cherry tree that we planted a few years ago when we moved in. That is now starting to get to the age where we might get some actual small edible cherries, and it's doing really well. It grew a lot this spring. It's been similarly pretty much the same size for the last few years, but this spring it suddenly decided, poof, okay, hello world, here I am. And people told us it would take about like 3 or 4 years, and exactly we're in our fourth summer here, and yeah, it's popped up. And we have a little raspberry bush that we planted last year that is happier this year as well. So yeah, got a couple of things going on, and hopefully we'll see what the rest of the season brings. But so far, we're really happy. This year, our basil, for some reason, didn't take it. Um, it started, and then for some reason, it kind of burned, like the leaves got all yellow and brown and crisp, and then it just died, and which was really weird because we haven't had ridiculously warm days. I'm not sure if maybe basil doesn't like cooler weather as opposed to chives, which the chives have been extremely happy with the spring that we've had, the chives and the spinach, because those are our early season crops. I think we also planted some peas and some summer squash as well. And I'm not sure how those are doing. I have to go by what Alex tells me because I've not um, crutching in the grass and crutching in the garden is a little tricky. So I have not been able to do my regular contributions in terms of weeding and finding, and taking a look at it myself. And so I have to go by what Alex says. However, we did also was able to finish our water system because we have the eaves all around the roof. And with some of the renovations we did last year by putting on the new siding and doing everything, we were able to arrange the eaves so that they would all pool into one that goes along the side of our fence and then dumps into some rain barrels that we have. We have two. So we have one that we have the overflow feed into the other. And in the bottom one, we have this little pump that we've installed so that we can water the garden with rainwater instead of tap water. So, adding a little bit of a green element as well to our gardening so that we don't have to, deplete too much water from the reservoir and able to do that. And with the two um, barrels that we have, it's pretty much enough to water the garden daily for a week if we wanted to, which we've not had to do all that much because, again, we haven't had ridiculously hot days and we've had plenty of rain. It's like we've been getting one solid good dump of rain uh, a week at least every week, and if not more. Um, and then some, of course, some drizzly and slow rainy days. So, so far this summer, touch wood, the garden has not been starving for water, and there's been no big heat spell, which has dried everything up. So this year, it seems particularly happy. It seems that we have good soil and that we did the right things last year in terms of preparing it. We do have um, I think, a woodchuck or a gopher in the yard this year, and it seems that what we did we dug trenches deep around and put some metal siding, or I'm not sure if it's siding or just some metal sheet metal that's that comes up down into it, and then we built the fence around it. So if anything was going to dig, they would sort of come across that metal first and maybe give up, and that part seems to be working as well. So, but the little guy scared the bejesus out of me the other day. Um, I'll show him to you. I think I have an image of him. It was on our desk. I have called him um, Sir Gregory of Gopher. Uh, Somebody thought it's like he looks like a George, George the Gopher, uh, gorgeous George the Gopher. Uh, but yes, I tried to. Uh, he was on the deck, and we had I had an opportunity because I had normally if I'm on the back deck, I'm listening to something for the podcast, right? Listening to something on a small speaker or just on the cell phone, um, and it's making some noise, and the noise is enough to keep the little critters, if they happen to be under the deck or somewhere, um, they're not coming out. But once it gets quiet, it's like, oh, it's quiet, and they sort of like pop their heads out. So yeah, he was just sitting there on the deck, and I'm thinking, okay, don't move too much, be very, very quiet. Yeah. And then I was able to snap a picture of him, which I've got right here. Hopefully, I can make it a little bigger. There we go. I do. And here's Sir Gregory of Gopher, Kids and Cubs. Now, I'm not up on my, I should be better up on my, I assume it's a gopher. Some people have told me that it's a woodchuck. I can't tell specifically if there are some of you who happen to know better. But that's the cute little guy right there. Um, so I got a picture of him, and then a couple of hours later, um, I had not noticed at all. And I looked up, and he was like literally within like 3 or 4 feet of me, looking up at me. And I just went, ah! I jumped so hard. Which caused me to my foot in the air cast to hit the wood of the deck a little bit, not extremely hard, but hard enough that I was sitting there. I was going, "Oh no, no, please don't make it so that I have to reach for the ibuprofen again." And it wasn't that much, but I think it scared me more than I scared it. But when I leaped, oh my god, it disappeared. Uh, Usain Bolt had nothing on that thing. It was just zoom, gone. Um, but yeah, he scared me at one point because I didn't hear him. Normally, I hear the um, I guess the claws or the nails on the wood of the deck, and it's loud enough, and it's a fast little pitter patter. But I must have been really into what I was listening because I didn't hear it, and I just looked up and said, "Oh my god, you are way too close." So yeah, um, Sir Gregory of Gopher, we have a friend. So the Beaver Lodge has a new critter, and uh, I absolutely do not know. At the moment, there's no point in trying to get rid of it because, again, with certain renovations, there's a partner fence that's open, and you know anything can get in at this point. So that's not, we're not trying to shoo it away or whatnot, because there's just no point. Uh, but yeah, we have a new critter at the Beaver Lodge joining the family, and it's been really cool since we've been here twice. We've had a robin's nest 2 springs in a row. This spring we didn't. Robin's nest on our porch. We've had little babies, and we've let them, just let them be and let them grow. And this time uh, we have a little a rodent of some kind. So yeah, it's it's kind of fun to see all the people, not all the people, but all the things around here. We also have like some rabbits around that we see often in the neighborhood and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's uh, it's nice. It's nice. I like that. And we also have there's a couple of feral cats in the neighborhood too. And, one of them, when we got here, kind of adopted us a little bit, but we haven't seen her in the last year at all. So we nicknamed her Mademoiselle Mew Mew, and she would always like come on our front. But the day we moved in, we moved in. It's like we had arrived on the in our laneway, and we were getting to the door to put the key in the door, and she just like ran up and right onto our porch. I was like, "Meow, hello, like welcome to the neighborhood" type thing. We sat there and we pet her a little bit, played this, and yeah, she would come back like pretty much daily during for spring to fall for like 2 3 years, and but last year we stopped seeing her, so we don't know if maybe she was somebody's cat and they moved or something. But yeah, it's it's if you like critters, if you like birds, if you like that type of stuff, yeah, you will. The neighborhood that I'm in is kind of nice for that, and we get treated to a lot of things. Of course, we have chickens next door, thanks to the neighbor as well. So we get to hear some clucking there. Uh, Chickens, I don't know how he does it, but I assumed it would be way more bothersome than it is, and it really isn't. So I don't know if he has some type of tarp that he has in front of the coops that come down at night or something. But we hear them a little bit in the morning, and hardly else at all uh, at any point during the day. So yeah, um, I like it. Our neighborhood is urban enough, that we can. There's a major throughway about 3 or blocks down, uh, you know, and if everything is quiet and if there's some stuff going on there, like sometimes you can hear the cars passing. Um, but the city that we're in, Kingston, is not big enough, right? So that it's a very active throughway all the time. So there are many times uh, in the early evening that we're at our home, and our home is also uh, on a cul-de-sac. So there's not too much traffic as well going through. So there are times if it wasn't for the street light that's near in front of our house that sometimes you can still spot from the backyard. Um, you could think it can get quiet enough that you can think that you're actually, um, you know, a bit at a cottage. So it's a nice feeling to have a little bit still being pretty urban and still being able to have uh, that really relaxed, very quiet feeling. Um, it gets despite the light on the street, if you're in a certain spot in the backyard, it does get dark enough that like maybe your sweetie can science, right? So he loves the stars and astronomy and all that kind of stuff. So I bought him a telescope once for Christmas. I guess, and enough. He's been in the backyard enough times, like this, looking through it, and it's dark enough for him to be able to enjoy it. So yeah, it's we are very lucky with regard to the earth that we have and the sort of neighborhood and the vibe and whatnot. I see Kit Lane says, "Remember to trellis your beans." Okay, see that we did not know, so we might have to do that. Uh, Kitland M says corn, beans, and squash like to grow together. Yeah, we did learn about that. The three sisters, I think they call them. So yeah, we tried to put them all in the sort of like in the same area. I think the mistake we may have made with the corn, however, was to plant them in a row rather than plant them sort of like in a square. we read after we planted them. We should have probably done that before. That they tend to do better and prefer that. So that might have been the mistake that we made, is that planting them in a row rather than a square specifically. But like I said, there's always next year to try. Again, get saucy here. Some plants you have to be seated indoors, and others need to be outside. And again, we're new to this, right? And we didn't do all the research that we probably should have done if we wanted to have a 100% success rate. Uh, for certain things we knew, but other things, and we did learn a few things from last year. But for certain things, we just said, like, just plant it in the ground and see what happens. That was the extent of our preparation and deep thought. So we didn't necessarily set ourselves up for to bat 1,000 on this one, but we are surprisingly successful for two people who have no freaking clue what they are doing whatsoever. Kit Elaine here tells me that carrots take forever. Okay, good to know. Yeah. Um, Tunnels trellis are good for cucumber, squash, and melons. Okay, that's good to know. I'm gonna have to save the chat from this so that I can refer to it. I'm getting good um, some good tips here. We did do some small cucumbers last year. I don't think we planted any this year, but small cucumbers last year, and those did really well, I have to say. And in fact, at one point we had too many. We also tried to grow some yellow beans, but I think we may have left them on too long. We didn't know when exactly we were supposed to pick them. And when we did pick them and tried to eat them, they were super chewy and stringy. And yeah, and we could see the beans inside them were black, and we could actually see them through the yellow. So that gives me the sense that we maybe left them there too long, or maybe we picked them too early. I I, I don't know, but yeah, those weren't uh, those they grew, but they weren't a success as something that could be put into a dish. So I'm not quite sure what mistake we made there. Kit Linda M says, remember to eat the beet greens too. Oh, I did not know that. Okay. I didn't know you could eat beet greens. So, are you suggesting here, Kit Linda M, that we cut them off like early as the beets are growing, sort of like someone would eat pea shoots or pea sprouts or alfalfa sprouts? Or you mean like just like when you take the beet, then to just keep the greens and then put them in your salad as well? Just looking for some precision here. Kitsasi says a strawberry wall is good too. You can use gutters attached to a fence with some holes drilled in the bottom. Okay, I'm definitely going to need to call you uh, at some point after this growing season and get some tips, because you clearly know what you're doing here, Klitsasi. But that's one of the things we did want to do next year. Somebody had given us a strawberry plant in a pot last year as a gift, and that was okay. But I always thought that strawberries were super invasive, so I didn't want to plant it in the garden. And I found out this year that depending on the type of, there are two types of strawberry plants that you can get, and one of them, while it does I don't know what they call this, grow in a thread or a string or in a line, some kind, is not invasive. And so, yeah, strawberries are something that we eat a lot of. So that would be something that we would like to have in our garden as well. I mean, in particular, if you have rhubarb, like strawberry rhubarb together, come on, like that's a wonderful winning combination right there. Let's see what else do we have. Kit Lori Sue says, next year I want to look into getting a large corporate local business to donate raised garden beds for the elderly here to grow vegetables, flowers, herbs, etc. That's a really good idea. That is a very, very good idea. Kit Uncover says, look up your garden zone. It will tell you when to grow certain things. Okay. That I was familiar with because I dated someone who was really into gardening, and he had that big book. I think it was the Canadian book, the Laurentian Book of Gardening or something like that. And it had like all the zones or something. Kit Saucy says basil likes to be warm, and it also can be used to keep bugs away from other plants as a sacrifice. Again, we are going to have to talk because clearly you know a lot. But yeah, that explains why our basil didn't do well, because it wasn't um, yeah, it wasn't a warm spring at all. Let's see. My area is primarily in Zone 6A for plant hardiness. However, parts of the city, particularly near the lake, may fall into Zone 5B. Yeah, we're close enough to the lake, uh, but I think we are far enough to be there. I think we would probably be more 6A than 5B. Uh, Basil likes to be near tomatoes and marigolds. Okay, we do definitely do not have the basil near tomatoes. We had made two specific herb gardens and then had the vegetable garden. Uh, I guess the only herb that we had planted in the vegetable garden was the cilantro, because we didn't have any more room in the herb garden. Um, the tarragon grows like crazy, however. Uh, um, but yes, okay, that's good to know. If basil likes to be near tomatoes, again, wonderful combinations. They go very well together. Uh, okay, and Kit Saucy said, check this out, Mr. Beaver. Sent me a link to the almanac.com summer weather forecast and the almanac.com for gardening. Thank you. I will definitely look at those resources, Kit Saucy. It's good to know. Kit Linda M says that Sir Gregory the Gopher is probably more Sir Walter the Woodchuck. He obviously needs a castle. Yes. Yes, indeed. Ah, good stuff. Let's see. Ah, Kit Linda M. I used to have a squirrel that would join me for lunch and crawl up my arm looking for peanuts. Aw, that's so cute. I like that. Kitsasi says, woodchucks prefer to eat fresh green vegetation. They eat a wide variety of wild plants, clover, and alfalfa, and garden vegetables if they can get them. On rare occasions, they eat snails and insects. Okay, good. Absolutely. Actually, I'm learning so much here. Yes, so I may have to share my veggies as a peace offering. Yes, we're actually hoping to be able to get a couple of people to come over and say, hey, if you want some cilantro and if you want some baby tomato plants, come and pick them now before we do all that weeding, because essentially we have a whole bunch of starters for a whole bunch of people who would like some here. Uh, let's see what else here. What do we got here? Chickens are pretty quiet when there isn't a rooster, says Kit Saucy. Okay, then that must be what's going on here. Um, yes, making paths and migration spots for insects, birds, and mammals makes a big difference in the ecosystem, and it's good for mental health. That's something that we're planning to do. On the other side of the house, we have this little strip, and we're hoping to do a wildflower bed where there will be some milkweed and other stuff like that to try to attract some butterflies and pollinators there. Uh, there we go. Oh, Kitsasi, if you guys need a vacation spot for the future, they have stargazing tours in the forest. It's a fancy place at Trout Point. Okay, we will look at that. I remember when we were in New Brunswick for Canada 150, we went to Fundy National Park, I think it was. And there was one spot in there where there was a light pollution free zone where you can park your car and at night look out. And we had the telescope with us, and we went there and looked at stuff there, and that was a phenomenal night. It's like we got to see way much more there than we got to see in the city, because it was essentially a dark zone, which was fantastic. Yeah. There we go. Kit Saucy also with a suggestion. Another option is to buy seedlings from a local nursery. The price point is not too bad for people who don't have time and space for seeds. Yeah, we did that with a couple of things. That's how we did our rhubarb and jalapeno. But we do have a certain amount of space for seeds and the time for it. But we did not do that this year. Again, just with all the elections and stuff like that, we just got out of did not have it. We had saved a whole bunch of egg cartons and whatnot to create little things to plant and start, but we did not get around to it this year. And hopefully we want to be able to enclose a little something near one of the exits that we might be able to use as a some kind of greenhouse earlier in the season to help do that with those seedlings. Not sure if it would work, but that's sort of like the general idea. And if it doesn't, that's fine. But yeah, absolutely. Uh, it's something we're looking at here. Um, Elaine says beet greens steamed and covered in butter taste like spinach. All right, I'm definitely up there. That's up my alley. So yes, you're making me hungry, kids. Now we got Kit Lori Sue that says tonight's menu is sweet and sour fresh veggies with chicken breast and ramen noodles, easy, quick, and healthy. And now I am hungry. Caitlin M says, wait until the leaves get larger, then you can pick the leaves while the beets are still growing, but leave 3 or 4 leaves on the plant. Okay, yes. Yeah, because I guess that you would, yes, as somebody told me, like the leaves are like solar panels for the plants, and that just definitely helps with that. So, yes, so don't take all the greens off, to leave a couple in order to, uh, so that the beets can still grow. Good stuff. All right. Wow, I'm gonna learn. I'm getting a lot of tips here. Let's see. I could eat onions like apples, but I can't do too much raw onion anymore. It makes me sad. Alex is a super big fan of green onions. Love them. I love them too. So it's that was the very first thing that we planted. I think in the first year that we were here to see if they would work, and green onions are particularly happy here. Yes, we do have. I'm not sure if Kit Lindab says check your local library. Many like mine have a seed library where you can borrow seeds. I'm not sure we have that, but we know of a couple of groups that have seed swaps early in the season and late in the season. And at the end of the season, I do absolutely want to get some garlic because I picked up by listening to a couple of podcasts that garlic is something that you'd want to plant in the fall, I think late fall, um, for uh, for the following year. So yeah, we also tried a couple of flowers. We tried to uh, we planted a dahlia, I believe it is, that is very happy where it is. So we're kind of happy. We're glad that it was it found a good home. And then we tried to plant some freesias, um, but it seems that we forgot that we probably need to put some mesh on top and then cover it with earth. And most of the bulbs got dug up, I think. Out of all the freesias we planted, only one is sprouting. So we have to um, remember to do that next year because freesias happen to be my beaver sweetie's favorite flower, and I managed to surprise him by picking up a bag of bulbs. But it seems we did not plant them the right way, and as soon as that they were planted, some squirrels came and un dug them up. Let's put it there. So yeah. Oh well. You know, well, like I said, we're learning. But every year, yes, it is getting a little bigger, and we are getting more things out of it, and it's a joy. A lot of the hard work was, last year setting it up, and all the previous years. But now we're doing pretty well. Um, the We didn't buy enough hay, however, to cover the spots in between where we walk to try and prevent some extra growth elsewhere to try to keep weeding down to a minimum. But this year we kind of figured out that next year we'll have to buy a little more hay than we did, and maybe once we start seeing the plants that we want sprout and then things are weeded, maybe put some more in between them to try to reduce weeding afterwards as much as possible. Um, 'Cause it's a big enough garden, and I know if you do a little bit of weeding every day, it doesn't become overwhelming, but, if we miss a few days, it can be overwhelming quickly enough. Um, I think, uh, our garden is, probably about 10 to 12 feet wide to maybe about 30 feet long. So maybe 20 to 30 feet long, 30 feet long probably. So yeah, it's a sizable garden. We took up a huge, a pretty sizable chunk of the yard to be able to do it there. Um, oh, Kitland M, you can grow green onions over and over in a bucket, just planting the bulb end. Yeah, yeah, I had noticed that too. If you planted the bulb end, so yeah, Alex likes the ball bend specifically to eat, but I think I'm not sure if you can uh, cut just above so that you can have most of the bulb and just the things that look like hair, and then plant that back, and that will do it. But if that's the case, we will definitely be doing that. And we also have. I also received an arrow garden as a gift a few years ago when I was living in the condo um, that I wanted to use, but condo regulations about growing stuff on the balcony kind of changed, and never got to test it out as much as I wanted. But hopefully that for the winter, we can have that on the counter and ensure that we at least have some green onions, spinach, and maybe a little lettuce throughout the winter months for us as well. If anybody has ever had an arrow garden device at home and tried it, do let us know if your experience with it has been positive. Um, yeah, get saucy again. Too big at the beginner stage can be hard to manage. Once you get comfortable, then you can get crafty with space, going vertical or using containers. Yeah, exactly. This was what we're hoping as well too, because two sides of the garden already had fence, so we can, it's easy to build some structure uh, that way after. And since my beaver sweetie a couple of years ago went to take a carpentry class, uh, he now has the skills to be able to build those types of containers if ever we need that as well. But yes, that was one of the things we were thinking about the garden, is that um, you know there are certain things I'm sure that don't need much space and can grow vertically if we create the space for it, and um, the boxes for it. So yeah, over time, because hopefully this home is our forever home where we're at. So year after year, just add a little couple, just you add a little something extra and add a little something extra, and before you know it, you got a nifty little operation going. Yeah, but we're having fun with it. There's just something about like putting your hands in the dirt and you know connecting with Mother Nature and connecting with Mother Earth that way. That's kind of nice. And fresh produce always tastes best, and right. And we know that we have no chemicals. We know we have no pesticides. We know all of that kind of stuff, right? So it's um yeah, yeah. And here's the thing: uh, if you would have ever told me when I was a kid, one, that I would be a homeowner, because that wasn't in the cards for you when you were a foster kid at all. Uh, and that me, absolute total 100% city boy, um, would have, you know, would own a shovel for any reason, or a rake, or a hoe, or I'd have laughed if you would have said that one day I'd be, um, you know, connecting downspouts to rain barrels to be able to water a garden using natural rainwater, and that I would be growing stuff other than maybe a basil plant on my balcony or something, um, or parsley. I'd have laughed at you. Like that's not in the cards for me. That's not gonna be my future. That's not gonna be my life. Like, what the heck do I know about gardening or even maintaining a lawn for that for that fact. True fact. When I was a kid at the foster home, one day I was mowing the lawn, yes, and I found a way to mow over the cord and sever it, because I did not know that you had to pull the cord out of the way. I just assumed that since the blades didn't cut the grass down to the ground, like this, that the blades were high enough that I could just go over the cord all I want and it wouldn't cause any trouble. Yeah, learned that one the wrong way. So I'm not particularly inclined to be the MVP on any uh, uh, put your hands in the dirt or pick up a hammer and let's make our let's make our home better um, category. That those were not my natural talents, and that's not where I was raised with. And I am surprised, pleasantly so, was at how much I have been learning over the past couple of years, and how some of these things are actually not as frightening to me anymore. I still have not evolved to handling power tools myself. I leave that to my beaver sweetie because he took an actual carpentry course. But once, I think, this winter when we were doing some stuff in our basement, I did have the drill and I did use it, and it was fun. I have to say, I was like, "Ooh, that's a nifty little toy." So I don't know if my curiosity was piqued, uh, but like if 10 or 15 years from now, if we're still doing this show and you're still with us and you see me walking in with a gardening hat, like this, and still the gloves on, and talking about, um, you know, how my uh, potatoes and corn and Swiss chard are all doing wonderful this year, you know that I will have gone full in, and that I'm, yes, gone full gardening, and I cannot be saved. You have lost me to the gardening gods, uh, which, you know, given how much I love food and I do love cooking and I do love hosting and I do, all of that kind of stuff, the concept of walking out your back door and, "What are we eating today?" and pick that, pick that, pick this, which is kind of similar then to going to the market, when I was living more in Ottawa, as 2 or 3 blocks away to the market. Like, listen, while I wasn't growing stuff, I'd always be going into the market for the summer months and, like, picking this, and, as fresh as I can, and, making stuff at home. So that concept is not, unfamiliar to me. So, yeah, I could see that, I could see that one day. It's like, "Yes, I've made a meal," 85% of what's on your plate comes from our garden. That would be kind of a instantly an interesting, uh, future that, 10-year-old me would look up at me now and go, "Really? That's where you ended up? Huh, interesting. Didn't see that for you." Gotcha. Kit Linda M here. I'm surprised myself when I learned how to install an electrical outlet. Now I'm a pro. You never know what you can do. Oh yeah, that's the thing. Turns out I'm really good at painting walls and stuff. And when I got my first condo, I did that, and it turns out I was a natural at that. So nobody had ever shown me how really. And yeah, uh, sometimes you realize, oh my god, these things can do something other than type. Kid Saucy here. Kitchen gardens can add $10,000 to $20,000 to the house value as well, so that can be a bonus for moving. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Good. Yeah, because I mean, we've done the work to do it right. Um, Originally, I wanted, I was thinking more of like a wooden structure that would have some meshing over the top as well, to stop birds from getting in from the top and other critters and type of stuff. We decided not to go that route at the moment. So, like I said, we just have a fence on four sides. Um, that's about maybe about at least 4 feet high, some meshing fence, and then, like I said, the metal that goes into the ground about 1 foot down, and then the top uncovered. So far, we haven't had any problems with too many problems with pests or critters. So I'm not sure whether or not we need to enclose the top. But my original plan had been to make it tall enough so that you can just walk into it, and then have some meshing on the top. So if any of you have some thoughts on that, I would appreciate that as well. But right now, it seems that it doesn't seem to be particularly necessary. Um, so yeah, but originally I thought that that might have been needed in some way, shape, or form. All right. Thank you so much for all of that information, kits and cubs. Uh, I am going to. I'm really making this really long. I've only had one sip since I said sociable and never got back to it. Mm, there we go. Not as cold as it was when I opened it, though. 2 hours and 49 minutes later. Ah, okay. Oh, Kit Uncover says, I'm doing container gardening. My upstairs neighbor is planting into the ground. I dug up an area for a pollinator garden. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, the pollinator garden is one of the things I wanted from the time we moved in. I particularly like butterflies, and I was aware that we needed to create these little areas for them. So we do that, and we do them we do a bit of the no mow May thing, and, we do the thing at the end of the season when we're raking the leaves to, like, pile them around the base of the trees and whatnot to create little homes for the critters and all that kinda stuff. Our front lawn, front garden, turned very well too. That's more, flowers and stuff like that, but, the crocus, that we planted, were very, very happy this spring. So were our snowbells. They were very happy. We have some lilies that are popping up now that are very, very happy. The tulips were happy this season. Uh, the peonies that we had one that kept on getting this white sort of fungus on the leaves for the last 2 3 years, and we read up about it, and we created more distance between the plants there. And this year it is happier, like you can so happy. And we bought like 4 or 5 or 6 peony plants, and we only had one that would bloom flowers. The rest weren't really growing all that much and weren't presenting the bulbs. Um, not the bulbs, I guess. Oh, what do you call it? The blooms weren't producing the blooms, and the one that was producing blooms would produce 1 or 2, but then everything would turn black. All the next bulbs would turn black, and the thing would get this white, powdery sort of thing. So we figured out that we had to put some nitrogen and some manure a couple times a year there. So we did that a little bit, and we gave them more space. And this year, a couple of other of them have grown, and we actually have 3 of them that have blooms this year. And the one that was getting the mildew or whatever that thing is so happy right now. It's big and growing and just it's really happy. The I don't know what you call it, but those cone-shaped type things that you put in so that they grow in the axe, or I'm not sure if it's a tutor, because I know a tutor is a stick that you put it so that it can grow upright. But this thing that we have them in there, and it seems to really like that to be in there, and seems to be thriving and doing really, really well. Um, okay, Uncover here says, in the fall, you need to look at cover crops that helps for the spring. Uh, completely do not know about this. Um, Knew about it in the back of my mind somewhere like this, but not enough for it to have popped up on its own unless somebody mentioned it to me. So yes, in the fall, okay, cover crops. I'll have to remember that. I should have had a pen and pencil with me to take notes while we were doing this, but that probably would have made for a little more of a burdensome show. So I'll make some time to make sure that I look at this again after it's up and fully posted, and then take some notes down based on the chat there. But thank you so much for all of this, and please throughout the year, on the show or whatnot, if you know, okay, it's that time of year you need to do this for your garden, Mr. Beaver. Just throw them in, and because I read your chats every day after the show or the next day. I will see the comments, and I will be able to put all of your wisdom to benefit. Um, but yeah, whomever asked, I forgot who asked at this time about the garden. Thank you for asking. Um, yeah, we are doing relatively well considering how dumb we are. Ah, man. Let's see here. Oh, I had something by email, but nope, that's for a Monday show. not for a PubCast show. So I can save that. Um, all right, kids, cubs. If you have another subject that you'd like to chat about, please bring it up in the chat. I would be more than grateful for the suggestion. I do have a little bit of additional stamina, so I can stay with you for a little bit if I have a topic that is brought up, or something I can speak to, or something that comes to mind. Uh, that's a bit of the trickier part if you're doing this alone, is coming up with topics, especially since it's not like I'm out there living life as I usually do, and I could come back and tell you a whole bunch of stories about what I've been up to over the last month. Over the last month, I've been basically at home, um, trying not to emotional eat too much so that I don't gain a ton of weight while I'm not active, uh, keeping my leg up. Uh, Keeping my leg up, not my legs up. Those of you who do the double entendre thing there. That's not one I wasn't walking into, but keeping my leg elevated and, in the ice and all of that kind of stuff, which, is kind of repetitive day in and day out. And it's not particularly thrilling. It's not like, oh, you'll never guess what happened. I put my leg up and and then something absolutely fascinating happened that I absolutely need to tell you about. So, yeah, the amount of new stories and new adventures in my life since my last big adventure, which was playing tag with the kids. I still say Johnny had it coming. So and breaking my foot. Um, yeah. Um, the the amount of experiences and living have dwindled somewhat. Um, One thing I can hmm, tell you about kits and cubs is my beaver sweetie. I think it was last Friday or 2 Fridays ago now. What's the date? Last Friday. Had his choral performance. Um, at the church St. George's Cathedral, I think it is in Kingston, with his choir, Melos choir and period instruments. If you have a chance to look them up, I think some of their music is available on some of the streaming services. You can look them up. If you're relatively new to the show and maybe don't know of them, it's an early music choir. And when we say early music choir, we mean usually nothing beyond the 1800s. The joke is Bach is about as modern as it gets. But there's stuff like sometimes done like from the 500s, right? As early as that. And we do have some periodic instruments and that type of thing, and people who play them. And it's they're always great concerts. And the one that they have around Christmas time, which is their Advent concert, actually, not necessarily Christmas, happens early in December, and it's one of my favorite concerts of them because we go see a lot of concerts, especially around Christmas season. There's a lot of traditional Christmas carols and some, jingling and sleigh bells and that type of stuff. And this is not that, like at all, right? So it's a completely different vibe. And because it's early music, so often there's some, many Middle Eastern influences or Turkish influences, or, from that part of the world. And there's often a section of the concert that sort of comes from there. So, it's it's not White Christmas and I'll Be Home for Christmas and, chestnuts roasting on open fire. It's a different types of things. Um, and this concert that they did this time around was called Lamentations, which would give you the impression that it was going to be a whole evening of really slow and plodding and morose, beautiful music, but that sort of vibe, right? And again, the choir director and musical director for the choir is the same person, Holly, who we've had on the show once as one of our guests. Um, Her depth and knowledge of music must be absolutely phenomenal because she was able to find three pieces of music that definitely were lamentations. I mean, you had the Kyrie and and stuff like that in them. Um, but had 3 completely different vibes to them, and, one of them, which was really interesting, was I believe, a procession for a queen, uh, queen in Poland. I think it might be Queen Mary, not sure. Don't, might be, I remember reading the notes for it, but it was about a week ago, so it's not fresh in my head, and it seems that she was a queen, um, from Poland whose husband she was a Lutheran, I believe, and her husband had converted to Catholicism for empire type stuff, and she never converted along, and seems was not able to have full honors or something like that uh, from uh, whatever um, new territory they were of which they were going to be ruling. Um, I'm sorry if it's the bits of the story are a little off in my mind, um, just because poor memory and stuff. Um, but here I'm looking at Wikipedia, and hopefully there'll be some extra parts in there that I'll be able to pick up to make it more clear. If I had the notes from the program with me, that would be better. Um, but yeah, she basically, according here, she's known now as the Most Holy Virgin Mary, Queen of Poland, um, and it's an how would they put it? It's used as an honorary title for Mary, Mother of Jesus, used by Polish Catholics, and the Catholic Church in Poland is singled out. They call it by Marian devotions among other Christian denominations in Poland. The cult is universal and very common among Poles, as well it is in the Polish diaspora worldwide. And it turns out, um, because she remained in her religion, maybe it's, see, I may have gotten it wrong. Maybe she was Catholic and they switched to Lutheran. Um, so, like I said, my sense of history is not so great. But the point is that she did not convert to the religion that her husband was going to convert, and by virtue of that fact, could not necessarily have full honors. But the nation uh, to which she remained loyal by remaining loyal to her religion um, essentially elevated her as much as a queen. I think she was, considered the people's queen in that sense by them. And for her funeral, uh, they had they did a really big thing, uh, honors that she probably would not have been entitled to get at that time. And what was really interesting about this piece is that it had a brass section at that time, which is relatively different. Uh, so they when they did the staging at the concert, they had these 4 sort of, different types of trombones that were all different lengths, and, some of them were, very different, had way different embouchures, um, for what they were doing, uh, and some of them even had to, had been borrowed from a museum, right? And, promised, "Yes, it will be only for this night, and we will keep it, in this case that nobody's gonna touch," and all that, they really had to make a whole bunch of, special provisions. Um, but brass instruments is not, um, the type of thing that you would associate with a lamentation. right? So they staged it in such a way. Um, they had the trombones and the brasses coming from the back of the church down the aisle as if they had been escorting the casket at the time and then come to the front. And for the choir, they actually normally we are allowed to sit all the way to the front, but they like put like 4 or 5 rows and then put a tape and they said, please nobody sit in there because the volume that these brasses can reach as opposed to like a cello or violin was so much louder that they wanted to protect the audience's ears. Um, it says here, I'm looking at a little note here. Uh, the term the People's Queen of Poland most likely refers to Queen Jadwiga, who reigned from 1384 to 1399. She's celebrated for her role in uniting Poland and Lithuania through her marriage to the Grand Duke Jogaila, which secured peace and prosperity for her people. Jadwiga is also known for her piety, charity, and efforts to promote education and culture. Um, and it said, unlike many monarchs who inherited their thrones, Jadwiga was elected as Queen of Poland by Polish magnates, demonstrating the people's acceptance of her rule. So, her marriage to Jogalia was not just a personal union, but a strategic one that brought significant political and territorial benefits to both Poland and Lithuania. And yes, and she was known for her generosity and religious devotion, which further endeared her to the populace. Um, so, yes, uh, hopefully, uh, hopefully I'm not mixing these people up, but there's, there's some really interesting stories, if you're looking into I guess the Polish monarchy, of some kind type there. But, yeah, you had all these, this music that was just glorious and wonderful and, surprising for lamentation. So they did those 3 pieces, and then they took a break, and then what they did is, they had the second part of the concert, and, instead of, from the steps around the altar, they went into the back to the benches where there are actually some benches for a choir to actually, sit there and sing, looking at each other this way, and, they did a piece, at that point, which is a piece that they normally do not do whatsoever because it was modern. It was, like, from the 1900s, and it was a full requiem, that they performed, and again, you would think, that it would be, um, dreary and that type of thing, uh but there was an organ that was involved in it, and there were, like, there was some brass, a little bit of brass and stuff like that, but there was a timpani as well, which is not an instrument that we normally have, when the choir is, doing that, type of music. So, with the organ and the timpani and everything back there, it was, actually was really weird because I've never heard this choir or seen this choir perform this type of music before. And it really felt that I was listening to a movie soundtrack. I actually just, like, put the CD in, the player, 'cause and the sound filled the entire church. Because with the organ, in a way that just the regular choir and the music, the period instruments do not. Um, it was spectacular. I had no idea that this choir could do that type of thing. Um, so I went in expecting, dreary and mournful and all that kind of stuff, and, that last one was actually rather uplifting, which was kind of interesting. So yeah, I was very, very, very pleasantly surprised, um, by the concert. I like everything they do, but some I like more and some I like less. This one I was expecting to be, one that I would like less, and, it was phenomenal, which just goes to show, when you have someone that, who's a choir director and, the musical director for choir, and they have a good sense of musical history, um, they can, put together one heck of a very interesting program. So, bragging a little bit about my beaver sweetie because he did a wonderful job uh, in uh, in the choir and the singing, and it was absolutely a delightful experience. I do not know if the choir will be putting it on video because often the concerts afterwards are available for 10 or 15 days streaming video, and when they do, we've publicized them. But that was something that was done more during COVID uh, at the time to help the choir uh, net some money because they couldn't do live shows. So they would rehearse for their season and then go to the church, record them, and then put them online. Um, Not sure if there's a need for them to do that anymore because we're now getting together and they're able to sell out the venues. But it was a lovely, lovely night of music, and I was very happy to be able to participate and to go. They fortunately had a section of seats where I was able to get there with crutches because sitting in a pew would have been a closed pew with something in front would have been very difficult. But they had the church has two sets of pews with nothing in front of it, which are specifically reserved for people that either have mobility issues or make use of a wheelchair. So I was able to sit there and have a good seat and fully enjoy the concert and cheer my sweetie on and cheer my friends on because I have some friends in the choir. I've sung with. I don't get to sing with it as often as my beaver sweetie does because of curling and sometimes musical theater and plays. But when I have a lull in them, then I join the choir and for a concert. I've got to sing three or four of them with them, and we got to record an album actually a couple of years ago, which is really, really cool. So, um, yeah, my voice is actually recorded on disc somewhere, so which is kind of cool. Not very many people can say, "Hey, I've recorded an album." Now, of course, it's not just me, and I have no solos or anything like this, but I'm there. My name's in the credits. It's again another thing that if you would have ever of the three, singing, dancing, and acting. Dancing is my first love, and it's what I did first, and then acting second, and singing I really didn't try until about the time I met Alex. I think my first ever musical uh, was in ooh, 2009 ish, maybe. Or no, it has to be later than that because my beaver sweetie saw me. Maybe 2012, 2013 was my first full fledged musical where I actually had a role that wasn't just background or chorus. And yeah. When I went to audition for that one, I seriously, other than Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer in the basement of a church when I was 6, accompanied by a nun at the post-Christmas mass sort of feast that they held, and "O Canada," um, you know, uh, I had not really sung in public except, in some karaoke, right? But never on a stage or, like, specifically with an audience or people that would, like, pay tickets. Alright, to hear me sing. So, of the 3, it was the one I was clearly the least confident in, and, to move from that point to the point where I can sing some early music, you know, and, as you know, a lot of you who sing a choir and who have been in a choir singing is a little different. Um, it's, I don't know. It's clean and it's classy, right? You have to sing like this, and you have pronunciation and enunciation, and those places from down there from what you're singing. And uh, as you can tell from my voice, it's soft. I'm soft spoken, and there's a little bit of rasp, and, the way I describe it is that my voice is often sounds like it's wrapped in cotton, it's muffled a bit. Um, you know, if I pay if I'm actually conscious about it and I pay attention, I can go to that place but I really have to think about it because this is more my natural speaking voice. Um which is well suited for jazz and blues, um, works pretty well for country. Um, but my voice is not clear as a bell, right? Um, so when I was thinking that, you know, when you're singing on Broadway, like that sort of like clear sort of theater kid voice, I don't particularly have, and and I certainly don't have a voice that I would consider operatic, right, in any way, shape, or form. And what that choir director is able to drag out of me in terms of a voice and ability and skill, particularly if I've like been singing with the choir for 3 or 4 months, and with all the breathing exercises and the warm ups and whatnot. Like if I could not do now because I haven't sung a concert with them in a year, what I was doing a year ago with them. But there were notes that were coming out of me. And it's like, did that just come out of my body? Like, how did I hit that? So it's I'm a believer. There's a lot of people that think, like when I say I'm a dancer, oh, I can't dance. I'm a believer that everyone can dance somehow. Everyone can dance, right? Not everybody's going to do a grand jeté, like 15 feet off a stage and right, from one end of the stage or another. But everyone can dance. And listen, if I can sing, I think probably everybody can sing, with some, proper training and technique and somebody who's like, kind and encouraging. Uh, but yeah, um, very, very, very um, impressed with what it is that she's been able to drag out of me. And you can see it in the choir. Um, they perform at such a high level that it's you know that now there's some people that have been with the choir ever since I've been to Kingston, and so I mean, 12 years of like, pretty much every week, maybe once or twice a week, with a choir director who also happens to be a vocal coach. Um, the performances of the choir have grown by leaps and bounds in quality, and actually it gets to a point where it's sometimes difficult for new people to join because they are so far advanced and they are doing music that's so far advanced that some people um, get lost or discouraged within like 3 or 4 weeks and quit. That happens often at the beginning of the year. We see some new faces, and then uh, people weed themselves out rather rapidly. But it's a if you stick with it, and Lord knows I've been very, very frustrated because I don't sight read either, right? So my knowledge of musical theory is very, very, very limited. It's greater now since I started, but still somewhat limited. Um, but she was able to bring me along and bring us along, and so it's when you have somebody that's good, talented, patient, believes in you, uh, and is able to work with what you got and maximize what you got, and then suddenly you start gaining a few things that you didn't know you were capable of. It's amazing what it does for your confidence as a singer, and it's helped me out so much in the musical theater realm afterwards, right? For other shows, the one thing helps another, right? Often. Um, so yeah, I've gained a lot of it. I'm hoping to be able to sing a concert with them this year. Um, Fingers crossed that that will be the case. Um, but I'm also thinking of a couple of. There's a show coming up that's not a musical that I would maybe like to audition for. It's a play called Seven Stories. That will be the first play of the season at Domino, where on which I was on the board for a while. Um, and then I believe that the musical theater company announced its first show of the season. They normally do two, our local company here. I think they announced the first one. I'm not sure if there's anything for me in the one that they have put up, unfortunately, this year for the first one. I might be wrong on that one, but they haven't released both um, titles that they're going to be doing this year. But there is one, the play itself is with a director with whom I've worked before, who is a pure and utter delight to work with. And it's one of those sort of uh, more broad companies, uh, sorry, uh, more broad plays with some comedic thing that would be up my alley. Um, the musical that they have, the Meister Singers, is Guys and Dolls, the one that's coming up. So there might be one or two things there for me. That's in November. I'm not sure how much dancing there is involved in that. That there should certainly be some movement, but I'm going to guess it's not contemporary lyrical dancing, given the era. So yeah, I'm hoping uh, I might be going to my first few auditions in over a year soon. Um, I think I might now have the bandwidth for it. So, for those of you who have been asking me also over the last bit, when's your next show? When's your next production? I think I'm pretty sure that there was that small one act play that I was in, but after We Will Rock You last about 2 years ago, I think now, that was the last one that I had done for a while. Um, so yeah, uh, I was thinking of doing something late last year, and I just was the thought of having to take 3 nights a week and have to commit and go someplace and dedicate myself to it seemed like a bit of a weight and a burden. I didn't think I was ready to take it on, so I took some extra time. But now I am, you know, as I mentioned, because the load started getting a little lighter sometime around last October. Well, now it's more than just 3 months after the load started getting lighter. We're June now, so now it's been about 9 months. So I think I have some reserves, right, to draw upon to be able to take on something like that, which I didn't feel I had last year. Even after things started getting better, I still felt like I was depleted somewhat and still needed to, basically to plug myself into the wall and recharge for a bit. So yeah, of course you have to go out and you have to audition, you have to get the role, right? So I can't brag too much and say, hey, I'm going to be in something, whatnot. But yeah, I'm thinking of going to do so because the play that I would like to do actually gets staged in September, and it seems that next year for the curling season, we're actually going to start curling somewhere around Thanksgiving rather than third or fourth, second, third or fourth week of September, because last year the weather was so hot around that time that we just couldn't keep the compressors going to keep the ice. So we decided to shift the season a little bit. Um, so if that is the case, then I would be done with rehearsals and the whole run of the show itself before the curling season starts. So therefore, I wouldn't have the conflict that I often have during the show of trying to manage 3 or 4 curling matches a week as well as 3 or 4 rehearsals, and that's essentially my entire life and nothing else. So to be able to do the first one outside of that is a particular draw and makes it such that I would uh, consider that it might be doable with the reserves that I have, the energy reserves that I have, because nothing else will be competing for my time while I'm doing that. So keep your fingers crossed, kids and cubs. You might hear of me on the stages soon, and I know that some of you uh, have made an effort to come and see a show if you've been able to, and I appreciate that. So I do always let you know when I'm involved in something and when and where you can get tickets. And hopefully, if you are in the area or if you can make the drive, treat yourself. Uh, I appreciate it. And if you do, remember after every show, at least I, as a show member, will go back to the change room like this and quickly come out so that I can greet the audience and thank them for coming and supporting us. And if you do ever come to see a show in which I happen to be in and you're in town, please do stay after the show and wait in the lobby or whatnot and do say hi personally, because if you are going to make the effort uh, to travel a certain distance and take time out of your life to come and sit in a seat, sometimes uncomfortable, and support and cheer for me, the least I can do is stay after the show and shake your hand or give you a big hug and thank you myself for having made the effort. And plus, it's an opportunity to meet some kids and cubs, and I always enjoy that very, very much. So, just a little note out there. If you ever do have the opportunity, do stay and say hi. It's not in a position, and it's something I really, really, really enjoy when it happens. So I would love to see you, and I would love to say hello. All right, kids and cubs. I am at about 3.5 hours now, and um, I would like to stay with you more. I do have the stamina for it, but I have literally now completely run out of topics. I have racked my brain for everything I can find. So, unless somebody has something in the chat um, that I can run with, I will make like I am closing the show. And if somebody pops something up, it might be a long extra that I get to seize upon and touch on them because I do love the topics that you propose. But if not, well, my friends, the time has come. Kid Elaine goes, if I came to a show, you'd be stuck with me for a while because it would involve a train. Dear one, if you did that, trust me, you would be very, very well received. Okay, just let you know, dear one, because if you did come to a show like this, um, uh, you you might get a home cooked meal out of it, dear one. uh, I love my Elaine. She's for those of us who are relatively new to the show, Elaine has been with us for a very good while, along with Kit Linda, original and the best. Kit Saucy has been with us for a long while. There's a lot of kits and cubs who've been with us for a long while since we've started this venture, and said I would. It would be my total, complete joy and pleasure to be able to spend some time with you. Uh, you know, I know connections over line and whatnot are different than connections in real life and stuff like that. But there are just certain people for whom, um, you know, I I assume that any time spent in physical presence with Kit Elaine would be wonderful, delightful time based just on the consistency uh, of our interactions over the course of several years. Uh, it's always delightful. I'm always happy to hear from you. I'm always happy to read what you say. So, yes, it would be. I would definitely find a way to make it worth the effort if you did come, dear friend. Uh, oh, absolutely. My daughter would have to come too. Yeah, yes, please. Yes. The more the merrier. The more clowns we are, the more we laugh. Yes, there are a few originals here, and so grateful from the bottom of my heart because listen, you know, it's been a while now. Like I would be completely understanding, if you would be bored with me by now, and you're not. So I have to assume that there's more going on. So, like I like to say, it's love and it's real. So, come come for the show, stay for the love would be my pitch. Ah, kids and cubs, thank you so much for joining us for this month's episode of the True North Eager Beaver Monthly PubCast, June 2025 edition. I hope that you loved listening to us, mostly me today, because we loved making this for you. Remember, sharing is caring and word of mouth is priceless. So please tell your peeps and poops all about us. We love it when you do, when you take our shows and you share them on your socials, and especially when you add a little word of your own. Oh, that it makes my heart overflow with joy. So if you would like to make your favorite beaver a little happy, do share our content. It's a way to help, and it that you think of us enough to do that, that you think highly enough of us to do that, really does mean the world to me. Uh, Kits and Cubs as well. If you would like to um, make sure that you do not miss an episode. Now, this does not apply for the pubcasts because, as you know, our pubcasts are online web exclusives. And so you can only see them on YouTube. We don't do a podcast version of them. But for the times and the regular shows that we do, if you would like to, well, then you need to take advantage of our pod page, which Kit the Ray Girl, thank you for your support, makes available to everyone. If you scan this QR code, if you're watching, uh, or go to podpage.com/the true north eager beaver with a hyphen between each one of those words. There's a button there that clicks that says subscribe. And if you click on it, when we have something fresh off the bandwidth, it comes directly to you. You don't have to go looking for it. We make it really easy because we like to help. There you go. It's that simple. If you would like to support us in other ways, Kit Elaine, of course, who's the keeper of the, how would we say it? The keeper of the smash. The queen of smash here at the Beaver Lodge. Um, she always invites you, along as sometimes does Kit Cassie, who's now rejoined us in the mornings, and it's so nice to have her back. Um, to go to our True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated YouTube page and to smash with our buttons. And because it is Pride, Kits and Cubs, well, then smashing is particularly encouraged during Pride season. Oh, yeah. You just smash. Smash all you want. Smash with all the buttons. If you get freaky when you smash, we don't judge. 'Tis the season. Right? So smash with our buttons. Like, share, and subscribe. They are waiting for you, and they just want a little tickle. And if you give them a little tickle, well, then it helps us with the algorithm, which is a good thing. And if you happen to listen to us on podcasts and it happens to give you the opportunity to give us stars and reviews, well, that too helps us with the algorithm. Yes. And you sort of think, maybe you're a star as you click on them. We feel that when it does. Yeah, we do. From all the way across the intertubes, we feel it. So thank you for all of your support. If you would like to help us in other ways, let's say financially, because we do incur some costs to bring this show to you, web subscriptions, new subscriptions, all that kind of stuff. Any help is appreciated. And you can make that contribution via our coffee page. That's coffee, ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver, or that QR code that just appeared will bring you right there. No donation is too small. So if you would like to buy your favorite beaver a mug of hot chocolate, your favorite grizzly a cup of coffee, and say, add a beaver, add a grizzly, thank you for doing such a good job. We appreciate what you do. Hey, that would make us very happy as well. So a little scan of our coffee logo here or QR code, or go to coffee.com slash coffee.com, ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver. That will take you there. And when you hear when we hear the coinage hit the bottom of the jar, that too makes us happy. Please remember that everything that you do now donate does go back into the show, and we use it to improve it and make things better and to deliver a better product to you. So thank you so very much for everything that you are able to do to help us. Now, kids and cubs, if you are not able to help us monetarily, as we keep on saying, don't worry. Or as we say in Acadie, worry pas man. because the gifts of your attention, listen, you're here on a Saturday, at least where we are. It's a beautiful day outside. I'm not sure what the weather is like where you are, and you're taking some time to spend time with us. And we know that you have lots of places where you can spend your time and a lot of things. Seeking your attention, that you give yours to ours, is something that we cherish. So the gifts of your attention and your participation are the ones that matter the most to us. And we like to hear from you. So please write to us. truenortheagerbeaver at gmail.com is our email address. Send us your thoughts, what you think about the show, good, bad, or ugly. If it's ugly, please be gentle. But constructive criticism is always welcome, as well as effusive compliments, I must say. So if you're able to write to us, we would like that very much. Again, truenortheagerbeaver at gmail.com is our email address. And if you are able to support us financially, but you're doing the Buy Canadian thing, which is very, very important, and you're bypassing the US CE Tech Bros, hey, truenortheagerbeaver at gmail.com, that email address is the same email address that you can use to send us a direct transfer. Direct transfer keeps the transaction between your bank and ours, keeps your transaction 100% Canadian. And the bonus is that no American middleman takes a cut. So we get 100% of your donation, as you probably would intend. So thank you so very much for everything that you do to help us with that. As we mentioned, this might be, based on your generosity to date, might be the first year that we actually fully break even, which would be nice. It's been a labor of love for the last few years, and some of it coming from our pockets. Um, but yes, if we're able to break even this year, that would be absolutely stellar, and it would be because of you. So thank you. Really appreciate all the attention and the gifts and the thoughtfulness when you send us clippings from stories. Hey, maybe you want to cover this. All of it helps. Goes back into the show. It's your show too. And like I said, thank you for being such wonderful, devoted, and active members of the best damn fam in all of podcasting. Um, you have made my life better. And I am very, very, very grateful for you. I think, particularly on a day like today. Again, sorry, well enough, getting emotional. But the last few days have been tough, and you know, but I know if I come here, it's going to be all love, and that's good for the soul. It's food for the soul. So, and that's courtesy of you. So, thank you, thank you for being my friends. All right, before I get too sappy, ah, Kids and Cubs, we're not going to do because democracy is something that you do, because today it's all about fun and chat and communing and just being together. We'll do that on Monday. Words of wisdom, Kids and Cubs. Um, you know, since we talked a lot about gardening today, if you have the opportunity, just play in some earth. Even if you're not, it's something on, even if you have a windowsill with the sun coming in, like this in a couple places, plant something. See what happens. You might discover that you have a new interest or a talent that you didn't know you had before. You never know. As the saying goes in Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, appropriate for the occasion, you never go unless you give it a go. So why not? Give something a go. Something you've not tried before. Have some fun. Go explore something. Let's see if there's a different side of you that you have yet to have unearthed. You never know what might be there. You might surprise yourself. All right, kids and cubs. It can be a tough world out there. So please be kind to and, well, gentle with yourself, particularly today, Mental Health Walk Day. Because if you're not gentle with yourself, who will be? Be the person you need. Show up for yourself. It's never lost. All right, friends, fam, love you to bits. Kid Elaine, oh no, emotions on mental health day. Yeah, I know, I know. And Kid J, see, Kid J Grick, ending it perfectly. Have a great weekend, damn fam. You know what? Actually, you know what? I'm going to take these two things down because this one deserves to be seen. So there we go. Whoops. Take this one down. Take this one down. And here we go. Given Kit J here, the final word from the Damn Fam. Have a great weekend, Damn Fam. Peace, love, and eat some tacos. Damn, I'm hungry. Okay, I better go munch on something. Mwah. Oh, wait a minute. Audience participation. Hey, hey, hey. Okay, hold on. First of all, one last sociable. Sociable. Yeah, I'm not doing really good at getting that down, am I? Hmm. Okay, kids and cubs. Oops, got a hiccup. On the count of three, since we talked about choir, um, altos, sopranos, basses, tenors, count of three, all together, in your most delicious singing voice. Mr. Beaver, please cue the cock. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's a wall of sound. Oh, I'm moved. And thus, I absolutely, as your queen, especially for pride, sitting right here, darlings, never far away. I absolutely, my devotion to my people. I live to serve. You request. I comply. You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Misfit Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters, CanadianTarot.com, their uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community, and the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from farm-fresh ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. We are grateful to the Crier Media Network for its support, Pete Jarvis for our artwork, and Paul Joseph Something for our opening and closing sequence music. All right, kids and cubs, before we go, because it wouldn't be a PubCast without a few dad jokes. Okay. I know too much candy can be no good for your health, but to be honest, sometimes it's just a lifesaver. What do you call a bakery that only sells bagels and donuts? Whole Foods. But and last but not least, because I will have to see myself out after this one. How hard is it to make a stir fry in a meadow? It's actually just a walk in the park. All right. Yeah, I know. That one was particularly bad. Okay, I see myself out now. Thank you so much for joining me today, kits and cubs. Mr. Grizzly, I'm sure senses love. Thank you so much for all the kind words you had for him as he needed to take some time for self-care today. And hopefully we will both be back on Monday, feeling a little spiffier. But today, I think the rest of the day, thanks to you, is going to be a good day. So, bisous and amour. And we'll see you on Monday.